All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here this evening at this city council meeting. I'm so glad to see all of you. We have so many exciting things happening here in Alpine, Texas. Remember, this is a formal council meeting, so all rules of decorum are in effect. If you need to have conversation with somebody around you, if y'all would please be courteous enough to step outside and have that conversation so you do not distract others in the audience or council members. And with that, let's stand for the pledges. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Please be seated. City Secretary, we have a quorum this evening with only Council Member Martinez being absent due to illness. Proof of notice of meeting, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Notice of this meeting was posted by 2 p.m. on April 15th.
Okay, we're going to move into public comments really quickly. If you're here for a public comment, you'll have 3 minutes to speak. Come up to the podium, state your name and your ward. You'll have 3 minutes and the timer goes off. Please return back to your seat. And remember, during public comments, council is not allowed per the Texas Open Meetings Act to respond to you. Do we have any public comments this evening?
We do not.
Okay. And with that, we're going to take a 3-minute recess.
Did you buy that building? You're renting it? Yeah. No, I don't know. That's not it. Is Frank still on that? Sure. Oh, Chuck bought it? Right. I guess. I'm not sure. Okay. Chuck did it. I'm sure Chuck bought it. Yeah. It's the building. It's the direction. Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, very great. It's kind of funny. Michelle something like that back to the concrete. It's just like must have boarded himself. Well, yeah, by himself. Didn't use a screen. No.
Yep.
Sorry, no. That's okay. As long as you try it, life is good.
Storage units and actually have an inventory. I made it with stock all the water.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Oh, you say that's the other, yeah, check the advisory prices. Yeah. So is your biggest stock out of water heaters? You got fittings and all their stuff.
That's sure. Yeah, I guess not, yeah, but I need, right now, I got a $20,000 boost, and I'll be sitting in the shop right now, waiting to go into.
Then,
I included it in the backup.
Okay, and with that, now that I have the all-important reading glasses, we are back in session. Thank you for your patience. All right, moving on to public hearings. Once again, if you're here to speak on a public hearing, you'll come up to the podium, state your name and ward. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. And remember that due to the Texas Open Meetings Act, council cannot respond to you during the public hearing. City Secretary, we're starting public hearings at 5:34 p.m. All right, public hearing A to obtain citizen views and comments regarding the second final reading of ordinance 2026-04-03. An ordinance approving rezone application 2026-04-01, amending the official zoning map of the city by rezoning the property located at 205 South Berkeley and legally described as all of lots 8, 9, 10, and 11. Block 2, Berkeley addition to the city of Alpine, Brewster County, Texas, as the same appears in the map or plat records on file in the office of the county clerk of Brewster County, Texas, rezoning the subject property from R2 two-family district to R4 mixed residential district, providing findings of fact, repealer, severability, effective date, proper notice, and hearing clauses. Is there anyone here to speak on this? Seeing none, moving on to public hearing B, to obtain citizen views and comments regarding special use permit 2026-04-01, a special use permit allowing the applicant Jennifer Hatch to establish a short-term rental at 110 North 7th. Property owner of record is Jennifer Hatch. The parcel ID of the subject property is 11839. Is there anybody here to speak on this? Seeing none, moving on to public hearing C, to obtain citizen views and comments regarding resolution 2026-04-12, a resolution naming city-owned real property located at the corner of 5th Street and Avenue E as Art Walk Plaza, recognizing Art Walk Alpine as a historic cultural event, contributing to the development of downtown murals and tourism, providing findings of fact, and providing for an effective date. Is there anyone here to speak on this? Seeing none, I'm closing public hearings at 5:36 p.m. City Secretary. All right, moving on to presentations and recognitions. There are none. Proclamations. If I can have Stephen Hummel come on up for the proclamation of International Dark Sky Week. Thank you for being here, Stephen. We appreciate all your hard work. Here, come on. I won't bite too hard. Whereas the aesthetic beauty and wonder of natural night sky is a shared heritage of all humankind, and whereas the experience of standing beneath a starry night sky inspires feelings of wonder and awe, and encourages a growing interest in science and nature, especially among young people and visitors. And whereas light pollution has scientifically established economic and environmental consequences which result in significant impacts to the ecology and human health of all communities. And whereas 80% of the world's population and 98% of Texas's population lives under a dome of light pollution, excessive artificial lighting at night that disrupts natural darkness and may never experience the visual wonder or ecological and health benefits of living under a dark sky. And whereas light pollution represents a waste of natural resources amounting to roughly 3 billion per year of wasted energy in the United States and contributes to diminished energy security. And whereas the city of Alpine lies at the heart of the Big Bend region of Texas, one of the darkest areas remaining in North America, and is part of the Greater Big Bend International Dark Sky Reserve, the largest area in the world certified by the International Dark Sky Association. And whereas astronomical research at McDonald Observatory and other facilities in the Big Bend region depend upon access to dark night skies to be successful. And whereas the Big Bend region is home to dozens of nocturnal wildlife species and is visited by hundreds of migratory bird species, which rely on undisturbed night environments to hunt, mate, navigate, and thrive. And whereas the International Dark Sky Association is the globally recognized authority on light pollution, promotes International Dark Sky Week to raise awareness of light pollution and provide free education, resources, and solutions to the public to encourage the protection of and enjoyment of dark skies and responsible outdoor lighting. Now, therefore, I, Catherine Eves, Mayor of the City of Alpine, Texas, on behalf of the community, do hereby recognize April 13th, 2026 to April 20th, 2026 as International Dark Sky Week in the city of Alpine, Texas. And I ask each resident to join me not only in observing and pondering upon this important week, but also in raising awareness and support for protecting our precious dark sky resources and helping Alpine be the leader and dark sky awareness for the region. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 21st day of April in the year 2026. Thank you.
Great.
All right, and Adelina, if I can have you come on up, and whoever else you brought with you. All right, whereas we are reminded of the extraordinary importance of maintaining a clean and healthy environment. And whereas all people, regardless of race, gender, income, or geography, have a right to a healthy, sustainable environment with economic growth and opportunity. And whereas we are all caretakers of our planet and have an obligation to combat climate change and environmental degradation to preserve the Earth's beauty and resources. And whereas it is necessary to broaden and diversify this global movement to achieve maximum success. And whereas this year marks the 56th anniversary of the Earth Day movement, let it be known that the city of Alpine, Texas encourages all businesses, institutions, and individuals to celebrate the Earth and commit to caring for the planet and its resources. Now, therefore, I, Catherine Eaves, Mayor of the City of Alpine, Texas, on behalf of the community, do hereby recognize the month of April 2026 as Earth Month and encourage people in Alpine to combat environmental degradation, support green program initiatives, and to encourage others to undertake similar actions. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 21st day of April in the year 2026. Thank you for all that you do. On to community interest items. City Secretary, each member gets 1 minute on the clock. If you would kindly set 1 minute, I will begin. Okay, first of all, Spirits of the West. The festival is Friday, April 24th and Saturday, April 25th. The Family Crisis Center has a fun run on Saturday, April 25th at Sewell Ross, beginning at 7:30. Alpine High School has a couple of events. They have the, for the high school band fundraiser on the 24th, they have a cornhole tournament at 6 p.m. at Skelton's Runway. And then they have a car wash that Saturday, 9 to 1 at Skelton's also, and that's Saturday, the 25th coming up. The Native Plant Society also has their annual fundraiser sale at 9 a.m. at the Forever West Texas Real Estate. So those are some of the things that are going on this weekend in Alpine. All right, City Manager.
We have the kickoff meeting with Texas Department of Emergency Management and City of Alpine regarding the FEMA generators on 4/23/26. And then the Cinco de Mayo will be May the 1st to the 2nd, 2026. That's all that. You covered the others.
Okay, great. Yeah. Councilmember Stevens.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. The only thing that is, the Little Advanced Planning, June 5th and 6th. The Alpine Public Library is having a putt-putt fundraiser, setting up a putt-putt golf course inside the library. And on the Saturday evening, the 6th, is going to be for adults, so they will allow beverages there.
Oh,
So it should be a good time.
okay,
That's all
great.
I've got, thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Escobedo. Okay, Councilmember Lucas. Councilmember Portillo.
Tell me.
All right. Moving on to changes to posted agenda. Council, are there any items to be continued or withdrawn? Okay, seeing none. Council, are there any items to be removed from the consent agenda for separate discussion? Okay, seeing none. Council, are there any action items to be added to the consent agenda? None. Council, are there any time sensitive items? Okay, seeing none. Moving on past time sensitive items. to the consent agenda. City Secretary.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight's consent agenda contains 5 items. Item A, approval of the April 2026 regular meeting minutes. Item B, approval of the appointment of Lori Griffin to the Place 2 position on the Planning and Zoning Commission. Item C, approval of the March 2026 Office of the City Secretary report. Item D, approval of the second quarter fiscal year 2026 Office of the City Secretary report. And item E, approval of the March 2026 invoice for the Horkaz Law Firm Services.
I need a motion.
Mayor, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, let's vote.
Aye.
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 City Secretary, council voted unanimously to approve the consent agenda as written. Please note that Councilmember Martinez is out due to illness. Moving on to reports and presentations. Each report and presentation has 6 minutes on the clock. The first one, presentation and discussion regarding an introduction to Pate Dawson Engineers, including an overview of services, prior work in the region, and potential opportunities to support the City of Alpine projects and initiatives. Toby Flynn, if you would come on up.
Thank you, Mary. Let me set my timer. Okay. Thank you, Mary Eves. Thank you, Mr. Arredondo, for hosting me today. My name is Toby Flynn. I'm with Pate Dawson. We're a firm headquartered and founded in San Antonio, Texas. And I am here for 2 reasons. One is to learn more about the City of Alpine, your vision for both the city and Brewster County. And then number two, to see if I can help you with that vision. I am really interested in this part of Texas. For one reason, I think that the City of Alpine is just dripping with potential. And I am personally invested in West Texas and want to see a very sustainable growth for this region of Texas, both for that we have children that don't want to leave and that kids that have left, that they can come back, and that when people reach a certain age, they don't have to leave also. Currently, in Texas, there's 1,500 people a day moving to the state of Texas. And engineers and politicians like to say, well, they're not bringing power or water with them. And although that's true, I think the more interesting part about it is that they're all moving to the I-35 corridor right now. But at some point, they're going to want to venture out and they're going to head west. All trends have shown that the people moving to Texas are moving west. And I think that every corner within the state of Texas, specifically West Texas, should be ready for them and to help them. Okay, Texas is currently the 8th largest economy in the world. So those 1,500 people who are moving here every day, they are bringing money with them. Okay, so what can I do to help you with your vision once I better understand it? The good news is that we are already working together. KSA Engineers was hired by the City of Alpine to perform a pavement study several years ago that's still being used today. And the good news is that KSA Engineers joined Pate Dawson 2 years ago. So we already have a good working relationship together. A history about Pate Dawson. Pate Dawson was founded 60 years ago in San Antonio, Texas, still headquartered. It is a privately owned firm, the largest privately owned firm in the state of Texas, still led by both Sean and Jean Dawson. So if there's a problem with me on any project, it's a phone call to them and they choke me directly. We started out in land development 60 years ago. So Chick-fil-A's, neighborhoods, master plan communities, schools, sports complexes, and then we moved into survey, geospatial, we moved into environmental, like my clock, airport design, architecture, and land acquisition. We helped San Antonio grow sustainably and responsibly. One thing we did very important in the past 7 years is the Vista Ridge project, which stymied a water crisis before it happened. It was the largest private-public partnership in the United States at the time, and Pate Dawson was the designer for the water and the water treatment system of that project. We've also helped hundreds of small communities across the state of Texas, all under 10,000, 5,000, 1,000 population with critical infrastructure to both find the money and then design and build it. We know that one of the challenges for small communities, it's not sophistication or lack of it. It's not the desire, it's the lack of funding. And so we're very experienced in both finding the money and then going to design it and build it according to a plan. We planned and designed municipal airports, sports complexes, universities, tourist infrastructure, including landscape architecture, water treatment plants, and many more. So in summary, we've already worked well together in the past. I think that this is a very unique time in Texas history where our population is surging. Our economy is set to be the 7th largest economy in the world, which right now we're already ahead Canada, Russia, and Italy, and we'll be over probably about 5 other larger countries very soon in the next 2 years. So we would like to be your trusted advisor. Again, we have a relationship already, and we would like an opportunity to get to understand your vision, where this city wants to go, and to see how we can help you.
So Toby, would you tell us more about what you can do in regards to recreation, like parks and fields, baseball fields, softball fields, as city council explores making Alpine a tournament destination?
Yes, ma'am.
You to help us with that.
Yes, ma'am. So we currently have a portion of our company that actually supports professional sports across the United States, specifically in the South and Southeast. So that's kind of big time to kind of go, oh, wow, so y'all do big stuff. Yes. However, we work with universities on all sorts of sports fields, master plan communities, which really incorporates both like planning basically setting what your vision is, and then incorporating the cultural aspects of that space, including landscape architecture. So everything from planning, funding, and then, I mean, there's all sorts of things today in terms of doing the correct modeling so that the community and the outreach can understand, hey, this is what we're thinking about, and then getting that input and incorporating that into the design there. And we love doing that stuff. That really gets us down to our ground roots of working with smaller communities. Since we are still a privately held firm, that's really important to us. Our mission is not to be the most profitable or the biggest firm in the United States. It's to be the most respected firm in our area of expertise. And we do so through working in the communities, through philanthropic missions, and doing good work and having a good experience with our clients.
Councilmember Stevens?
Toby, thanks for being here. How do you fund what you do? Because I'm, having done large scale projects, you got planning cycles. We're not exactly flush with cash. And one of my fears is lots of firms want to come in and do business, want to take cash, put a plan on the table. We look and say, can't afford that. So help me understand how you all get funded and why we're not going to have to fund that. You're going to help us make that happen.
Yes, sir. That's a great question. So I'll take water and wastewater projects as an example for lack of time. So Texas Water Development Board, you know, they make a lot of promises. They are good to work with, but they are hamstrung by staff that's just kind of lacking in numbers. But we work very, very well with Texas Water Development Board and in the communities to find the right grants or low interest one or loan forgiveness plans for these communities. And that's really, we know that's the only way to really work in some of these communities. When I was up in Fort Davis just last month and this morning, and I met with the WSC up there, and I've learned a lot of things. One of the things is they said, Toby, low interest loans really aren't even a deal for us either. We need grants or loan forgiveness. And so that's what we do. We have to go out and find the money, but that takes getting to know those agencies like TWDB, like WIFIA and Department of Agriculture.
Councilmember Escobedo? Oh, thank you. Councilmember Lucas?
Thanks for being here. I guess my question would be, with everything y'all done, sitting here, look at this PowerPoint. But with comprehensive plans, that's something y'all be able to help us out, hand in hand to really help us pick that up, and that can be digitally grant funded.
Yes, and it just depends. It depends on what you want to do and like where it fits. And then, you know, the City of Alpine will kind of rank depending on what agency it is. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And again, I think what's important too about Paved Austin is, I'll be frank with you, a lot of engineers are not good with that. But we have urban planners, landscape architects, which we call the bunnies and butterflies folks on our team. So I have a lot of respect for. They work better in this space than some of our, you know, and I mean this with respect, a lot of our nerdy engineers.
Councilmember Portillo?
No, thank you. No questions.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else? questions?
Nope, I'm good. Thanks.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thanks all very much for having me.
Go learn. What about us?
Okay, moving on to report and presentation B. This one belongs to the city manager. If you would read that out.
Presentation and submission of the proposed five-year capital improvement program for fiscal year 2026 through 2030, including a general summary of the program, review of project priorities, funding considerations, and next steps in the planning process, and direction to staff. So Mayor, we've been working on this. It hasn't changed from the last presentation. So we have the executive summary. This document provides an executive summary of the City of Alpine's capital improvement plan for the fiscal years 2025 through 2031. The comprehensive plan outlines a wide range of proposed projects across numerous municipal departments, reflecting a strategic vision for the city's growth, the safety, and the modernization. The plan details projects with a total projected expenditure exceeding $16.6 million, addressing critical infrastructure needs, equipment replacement, and new initiatives aimed at enhancing operational efficiency and community services. The projects are phased over multiple years and are funded through a combination of the general fund, the departmental operating budgets, hotel occupancy tax funds, various external grants, including FEMA, TxDOT, USDA, and the Texas Water Development Board. The strategic priorities, the capital improvement plan is organized around four core strategic priorities that guide the allocation of resources and project selection across all city departments. The infrastructure modernization and resilience represent the single largest investment category in the plan. A complete overhaul of the wastewater treatment plant at $5.2 million, a refurbishment of water wells and storage tanks, and a multi-year program to locate and replace aging water and sewer lines are among the most significant undertakings. These projects are critical for ensuring regulatory compliance with TCEQ and EPA standards, reducing long-term maintenance costs, and preventing service disruptions to the community. On the public safety enhancement is a second major focus area. The Alpine Police Department has submitted numerous requests for the new patrol vehicles, modern weaponry, facility renovations, and a long-range plan for a new police station. Animal Control Services has identified several high-priority needs, including a new incinerator, currently in the RFP process, a standby emergency generator, and a transport vehicle to ensure the welfare of all animals and the shelter's care and the safety of the staff. The economic development and tourism reflect the city's recognition of tourism as a key economic driver. Projects funded primarily through hotel occupancy taxes include the restoration and modernization of the visitor center, the windows, roof, flooring, and the lighting, the development of a downtown meal park and visitor kiosk on 5th and Holland Street, significant upgrades to the Alpine Casper Municipal Airport, airport improvements, including runway resurfacing and an AWS system relocation are largely funded through a 90-10 TxDOT city cost-sharing arrangement. On operational efficiency and technology, underscore a citywide shift towards modern systems, the implementation of smart meters at $1.8 million and automated meter infrastructure for the gas department at estimated at $1 million are transformative projects intended to reduce manual labor, improve billing accuracy, and increase revenue. Supporting these are a utility GIS system and a citywide digital imaging project to modernize records management. Departmental funding overview. The table below summarizes the total projected expenditures by major city department as identified across all 69 pages of the capital improvement plan. The utilities department represents the largest single area of investment, reflecting the critical state of the city's water and wastewater infrastructure. Utilities, water, wastewater, sanitation, $9.7 million. The gas department, $1.3 million. The police department, $2.2 million. Airport, $1.4 million. Public works, $1.3 million. Administration and city secretary, $642,000. Tourism visitor center, $375,000. Animal control services, $240,000. The grand total is an estimate based on individual project figures as stated in the CIP. Some projects have costs dependent on grant awards or TxDOT funding decisions, and actual expenditures may vary. Several projects are noted as requiring requoting due to current market conditions. The high priority initiatives, the priority level 1, the plan designates a number of projects as priority level 1, indicating they are not the most urgent and critical for the city to address in the near term. These projects are foundational to maintaining essential services, ensuring public safety, and supporting the city's broader strategic goals. And there's a whole list of the projects there. The key funding sources and grant opportunities, the city of Alpine is actively pursuing multiple external funding sources to offset the financial burden of the CIP. The following grant programs and partnerships are referenced throughout the plan: the TxDOT Aviation Division, the FEMA BRIC program, a USDA matching grant, and then the Texas Water Development Board. In conclusion, the city, the hotel occupancy tax funds, the American Rescue Plan Act, infrastructure bill, and law enforcement grant. In conclusion, the city of Alpine's capital improvement plan represents a forward-looking and ambitious roadmap for investment in the community future. The scope of the plan, spanning 8 departments and covering everything from shelter appliances to 5.2 million wastewater treatment plant overhaul, reflects the breadth of needs facing a growing municipality by prioritizing the modernization of essential infrastructure, enhancing public safety, fostering economic development through tourism, and embracing technological efficiency. The plan lays a strong foundation for resilient and prosperous Alpine. Successful execution will depend on disciplined financial management, the aggressive pursuit of external grant funding, and the coordinated effort of all city departments working toward a shared vision. And then there's a list of all sorted by department and by year with the description of all the items that the department requested. I want to give a big thanks. It was a bit took a long time for this exercise, a lot of meetings, but you know, you all were on top of it. Came through. Thanks for all your input.
How many meetings did you have?
Oh man, I think at the very minimum 3 with each department lead. And then towards the end, Vicky, myself, and others, and Isadora combining all this information to put it in a kind of easy to read and easy to follow format.
This is very easy to read, easy to follow. I like the format that you put it in. It's one of the best I've seen. And for the people who don't have this in their hands, they were just listening to you orally. This is spread out over 5 years, and your priority ones are what you're looking at in
Correct.
year 1, which is this fiscal year, no, next fiscal year, 2026 through 2027. Is our grant writer, Isadora, is she currently looking at these different sources?
Yeah, so she just went to a training in San Angelo with Texas Water Development Board, and also Andy, our engineer, was there. So they're looking at that. We're also, yeah, because the bigger items on this strategy for the infrastructure are related to water and wastewater infrastructure. So our goal is to, you know, get the biggest bang with grants for that, and then it'll go grants, and then maybe you can get loan forgiveness loans where, you know, you make a commitment. Let's say the item costs $1 million, and they're willing to forgive 50% of it. You know, but they'll say that so that you execute it, you have skin in the game, and then later, once you complete it, then you come back and say, okay, you know what, we're going to forgive 50%.
Do you know that up front? That this is a possible one?
Oh, it is a possible, yeah. I did a $7.5 million project in Dilley, Texas with that, and it came out to be a 50% forgiveness. It was a new sewer treatment plant.
You knew that was a good possibility when you started the project.
Yeah, well, at the beginning it was a 30%, and then you just kind of go and plead your case.
And so it's no surprise that the utility department's the largest.
Yeah, that's the more expensive.
With the $5.2 million to overhaul the wastewater treatment plant, and we've started that overhaul. Smart meters are in year 1.
Smart meters one is in year 1, because I believe there's already some funds for the gas. I think there's 300,000 already set aside. I'm waiting on an estimate from somebody. I think maybe it's gonna come out at 500,000. I don't have the, I'm waiting on that, but that could go first.
Councilmember Stevens?
Thanks, Mayor. So, Henry, thanks for putting this together. I echo the mayor's comment. This is the best one I've seen in my time on council. When I added up all the priority one, it's $11.4 million out of 17 million. I mean, that's, all I just take your page 64 and just kind of went down the list and all came up with some one. That's a big list of priorities. That says 2/3 of priority one. And I understand your priority one are really important for infrastructure standpoint. I also noted that when we look at the expenditures by year, it's $3.1 million in year one, $0.7 million in year two, nearly $8 million in year three. And the mix between general fund and enterprise funds, there's a lot in general fund, which I get because, you know, it's water, wastewater, the others, but somehow those have to get paid about a little bit more under the information discussion items. But when will we know, particularly for this next fiscal year, what we think the funding source is going to be for the $3.1 million that's being proposed?
Well, some of it will be general fund, like you say, and the others will be the enterprise fund.
Yeah, no. But when will we know what grant opportunities are, where we're going to have to go for loans? When will we see that mix in the process as we're getting ready to work?
So for example, the deadline for the, all the water projects, which we already submitted, 6, project information sheets to the Texas Water Development Board. The deadline to submit, I believe, is July the 30th at midnight.
And when will we know though from a budget
Yeah,
standpoint?
so usually it takes a while. It's not immediate. Okay, so it could take 2 years, you know.
Okay, so the reason I raised it,
Oh, yeah.
you know, this year, we took $1.2 million out of fund balance, which we're still trying to figure out to be able to fund our budget at $17 million. Okay. I just find it difficult to go into this next year and want to take more out of reserve or set a budget without really understanding where we're going to be having our dollars come from. And so all I'm just trying to give you heads up is $3.1 million is what's proposed here.
Mhm.
One of the questions that I'm gonna be pushing for and asking during our budget discussions is, where's the $3.1 million coming from? Because department budgets don't have it in their budgets right now.
Correct. So one of the things is to finance over time. And it'll depend on the term of the asset. If it's an asset that lasts you 10 to 15 years, well, then you can finance it 10, 15 years. The biggest assets, like let's say a redo of the wastewater treatment plant, the lifetime on that probably be 30 years. So you can pay over 30 years or 20 years, whatever your capacity is to pay.
No, I completely understand that. I've been involved in this a lot.
Mhm.
I'm just concerned about how much debt, and I presume I'm looking forward to that discussion as well. We as a city are willing to be able to take on to be able to cover that cost, because it's only going to show up in one of two ways. Either reduce cost or increase rates. And so one of the things, again, we'll get an information discussion. I don't think we as a council are aligned about priorities. I know, Mayor, when you came on board, provided the leadership, we spent a lot of time within the community getting our priorities of water, wastewater, streets, and employee pay. I think it's time we do that again to make sure we've got some alignment. Because I think we've got a number of things to sort through, and I'm just really worried about the amount of debt we're talking about. Because this year alone, we've already taken on $1.7 million worth of debt. And it's all in the general fund. So I think we got a lot of work to do, and we'll talk about it in a further discussion. But those are my comments on the capital.
So background, what Councilmember Stevens is referring to is we held a series of 6 town hall meetings across the city, one in each representative's district, and we invited the public to come out, and on a large sticky note piece of paper that was around the room, they wrote down what their priorities, constituents' priorities are for the city. Then we took that information and aggregated it and came up with, first was first was water and wastewater.
Yep.
And then was streets. And then the public wanted us to work on employee pay,
Yep.
which we have done that. And we've been working on the wastewater, at the beginning of the overhaul of the wastewater treatment plant. So it was water, wastewater, streets, employee pay.
Those are the 4 meetings.
It's like there was a fifth one, but maybe not.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what he's referring to.
Okay,
And
so I
maybe it's time
think,
we do that.
so there was a rate study, I think, for the employees. I think that was
We did.
approved.
Yes, we
Yep.
did that.
Yes, okay. And then there was what else? Well, this identifies the water,
Yeah.
wastewater.
Yep.
And another part to you're concerned, there's also hidden costs. If we don't respond to, the system on a timely basis, then you increase your risk and of something happening, and then now you pay premium price to
Well,
fix it.
That's your normal operating budget, your own already you're working your way through, so.
Yeah.
I think we need to have a really robust discussion to make sure we're aligned, because again, I'm just concerned about the level of debt that we would take on if you look at 3.1, 2.7, well, the 11.4 over 3 years. That's a healthy chunk of debt.
So if for, let's say, $1 million on the water, wastewater, it's about a $70,000 a year payment.
Wow.
To finance $1 million.
Yeah, and then, so add that into water rates, when I kind of went through numbers, potentially pushing water rates up 15, 16% to be able to fund that debt in addition to operating costs. But that's the discussion I'd really like to have, because I think that's important to residents, it's important to council to understand operating.
That's understood, and this is the strategy, these are the items that the department managers
Oh, yeah.
brought up.
I get it, I think it's great. Yeah, but now we've got to have that discussion.
Yeah, it's great. I'm glad you involved the departments
Yeah.
and they've actually had probably more involvement maybe this year than in years past. Is that an accurate statement? And so that's wonderful. Thank you for that leadership. And the goal, of course, the grants, find as many grants. And Isadora, as you said, she's been looking for
Yes.
the grants and going to trainings and.
And we
We haven't had-
possibly, yeah, and we can possibly utilize other grant writers, because one person, can only do
Right.
so much.
So
So,
contract out.
Yeah,
to
so the
other
plan would be to,
grant
contract other grant administrators and get, get more professionals on it. And
That sounds like a plan.
Mhm.
The more people we have searching for money, then the less debt we have to incur, more
I-
grants.
yes.
And I know you already know that, run municipalities.
So our goal is to propose something good, and then, you're the representatives of the constituents, and if you have a priority, you let us know, and we'll go after it.
All right, so anyway, so we might consider council thinking about town halls again, getting the public involved. And we only took maybe an hour for each of those meetings.
Yep.
It wasn't, they came in, they had a whole bunch of sticky notes where they could write down their thoughts and ideas, and then they just posted it under general categories that we had written on the larger sticky notes. And that was it.
Yep.
Out, they went less than an hour.
It's good to get their input.
Yeah, absolutely. Councilmember Escobedo?
Of course, it's a great report and, I should agree, the town is also very important. And you've already said, in the report, what each department is go after.
Councilmember Lucas?
So with the loan that was just passed, how many of these items have already been taken off of this? I know there's a couple of them that I think I recognize.
Yeah, we're gonna,
When you
yeah,
showed me like the Kubota mower. The fuel, such as.
and
like that.
the incinerator, we'll take that one off too, because that's
Yeah.
on the agenda.
And
for
so the
today.
incinerator, is the county still meet us halfway?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they are, I don't know if they already provided funding. or we send them the invoice, I think.
Yeah, pass the resolution and.
Good.
Yeah, correct.
And then the AWAS was not moved already, or am I mistaken? Okay,
Yeah.
that was still needed too, but it's gonna be grant funded. I know the seal coating and stuff is like a 90-10 grant, right?
Airport's always 92.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's huge chunks of money that are already off of this.
Yeah.
17 million.
Yeah.
Or well, I say huge chunks, but the airport's
It's
a huge
portions.
chunk, yeah. Almost $1 million right there. You can see, there's one more that I had a question for. With our wastewater treatment plant overhaul, what's the number that we've already put into that 5.2? Is that an additional 5.2 from what we've already invested into it?
No, I think that's the project, number 5.2.
From what we've already done, or what
Yes.
we need to do?
No, what we need to do.
Okay.
Yeah, because I presume
So
that includes sewer lines.
Yeah, so when we worked with our engineers, Andy Baselli, and we kind of estimated on the project information, you know, kind of estimated a little higher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because by the time we get around to actually doing it, for sure.
And they've already, they've accepted those. It's just now they're gonna come back to us and say, okay, give us more detail.
Yeah.
Information on.
Great. I know we kind of, you were saying the gas meters was up to 500,000 now?
I think the last time I checked, I think there's funding already approved.
Yeah.
300,000.
Yep.
And I'm waiting on the estimate, but I asked the gentleman to send it again because I think it happened like 2 years ago. Or a year ago, maybe. So he's gonna send me that, and I'm thinking I saw 500,000, but okay.
So just to reiterate on. But
Yeah.
just the statement I just
Yeah.
made.
Or,
Another
you know,
year, because-
yeah, now that,
And rightfully so, because we weren't sure about the money, and then we found out that we did have it because we'd given that to Randy. And now it's gonna cost us $200,000 more than what was expected.
yeah, so one of the things the gentleman said, and he showed us the meters, is this is for the gas, not for water, but for the gas, it's easy to switch out what you have right now.
Yep.
So he would recommend that our crews do the switching and you just buy the meters, and that's it. So. Yeah, so maybe it's less than the 500, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So the estimates that you have here are on the higher.
On the
side.
higher side, yes.
Is it at all possible that you can get it to us on what the actual number is, taking off the incinerator, the stuff that we've already.
Yeah,
approved, and
yeah. I can remove those.
That'd be awesome, so we can see,
Uh,
I guess, an updated number instead of 17 million, yeah,
Okay,
Like that.
all right, thank you, that's all I have.
okay.
Councilmember Patil?
No, thank you for the report, but Rob hit a lot of it that I'm gonna ask, so thank you.
Okay, anything else, council? All right, let's move on. Information and discussion items, bless you. Okay, information and discussion item A belongs to Councilmember Stevens. If you would read that, start us out.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. This is based upon the discussion we had last council meeting. And the item is discuss current performance in city fiscal year 2025-26 city budget at the top level. And I'm just trying to get some sense, we as a council, I don't think have seen a performance to budget for quite some time. And I know Victoria's been busy. We used to see it on a monthly basis or at least a quarterly basis. You quoted some numbers at the last meeting. We have no idea where we stand budget wise.
Okay, so, yes, and, you know, we want to be able to come and give you a more complete report. You know, we want to close the month and all that, and that's what Victoria is working on, and, you know, it's gonna take a little time, but she's working on it. So I told her to pull out the high level. So at the high level, you have an amended budget of 18.4 million in revenue. That's all sources. Okay. And then you have a expense budget of 19 million. So that's you're higher on expenses budget wise. That's just planned by 635. That tells me that there's probably an entry that's missing on the budget side on the revenue. Because now on the action,
Actually, no,
Mhm.
the budget was put together taking $1.2 million out of fund balance.
okay,
And we didn't have a fund balance, so expenditure was always higher than revenue.
okay. So Oh, you did not have the fund fund?
We had
Fund
no idea what
balance?
the fund balances were put this much together. That's why
Okay.
we want.
Well, if it was general fund, you had 3.9 million in fund balance. So it could have come from there. So,
We
that-
never knew.
okay, so that's just a simple entry, to balance that out. Now, looking at the current actual, the year to date through March, we have 6.9 million, well. See, 9.2 million, 9.3 million in revenue. This is actual through March. That's 50% of your budgeted revenue. So March is at the 6-month point, so that's 50% of the year. So it's tracking at 50%.
So when can we actually see a sheet of paper that has the numbers on it at the top level? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah. So as soon as we're able to close 1 month, she's working at on the prior years, that's why.
Okay, you have numbers. We don't.
And
When
that's,
can we see what you see?
Henry, would it be possible for you to send the entire council
Yeah.
what you sent me? Because I think that might be.
well, yeah, but that's on a different question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just want, just a really clear picture is your revenues are 9.3 million year to date. Okay, that's 50% of your revenues budgeted.
for
You're
50%
at
of the year.
50% of the year right now, so you're on track with your revenues at 50%. Now your expenses are at 6.9 million for the year. You're at 40%. You're 10% below your expenses, so that's $2.3 million below what you budgeted. Okay, we still have a half year left, but on the big. So number wise and a simple,
So when could we see something written down, general fund, budget versus performance, enterprise funds, budget versus performance?
I think the problem with that is you have balances that have to carry over when you close out your prior 2 years. We have not closed out those prior 2 years, so balances, once you do all those adjusting entries that your auditors are gonna recommend, you will be able to close out those years and then bring your beginning balances forward to the beginning of this fiscal year. We have not done that. So she cannot give you a complete report.
This is pretty frustrating. I've never seen a business like the city who you couldn't literally write down your balance sheet where you're at. We're a city, we're on an $18 million a year budget.
Mhm.
Why can't we see a balance sheet?
Yeah.
Council only worries about 3 things. One of them is budget.
Part of your fund balance is in your balance sheet.
I'm not worried about fund balance. That's a separate discussion, but we've been waiting, just performance against this year's revenue versus expenditures, how we're doing against this year's plan. She's still working out fund balance.
Well, that's what she printed out. This
Yeah,
is
but we
the
don't see
current
it.
performance.
We haven't seen it.
Okay.
Did the mayor get it?
No, she doesn't have this.
So when can we see it? We used to get it on a monthly basis. Why? That's what I'd like to see.
Well, we're waiting for her to, by July 30th, we should be complete with our audits. And she'll be able to carry that. Sure.
But, and I also want to point out though, to those in the audience, that this goes back to 2024. So this is prior to Henry and prior to Victoria. The audits weren't being done by previous administration. So this goes back to 2024. So I don't want to lay blame on these two, and I don't want you guys to take it as,
Yeah, no, we're not
so we're
taking
trying
it.
to catch up on the audits.
Mayor, my question is not about the audits. We know, and that's the subject.
Right, I understand your
next-
question. I just want to make sure that people. are
Understand,
aware.
I'm just looking for how we doing against the budget. People ask me, hey, Rick, what's the budget? I don't even know what the amended budget is. And I'm a city council member. I get that asked all the time. Where do we think we are? I don't know. All I know is what was passed. But I don't know how we're doing. And you said we've amended it, which we have. We have never seen what that accumulation looks like. And as a result, people says, well, how are we doing? I don't know. I don't know why that's so hard to get an answer to. You clearly have that information. That's all I ask you, share at the council. That's part of our responsibility as city council.
No, understood. And that's what I was doing at the high level. This is all your annual budget.
Okay, I'm gonna put on the next city council agenda, I want a written copy at every meeting going forward until we work our way through. I don't want to create work for you, Henry, but I'd certainly like to be able to see some numbers. And a verbal number, it's interesting, it's hard to relate and put it together.
So Henry, what you're saying is that the budget we passed with the revenues that we were anticipating we would receive this year, the actual is we're tracking, we're at 50%, we're at the 6 month
Yeah.
mark.
At the 6 month mark. Okay.
Yes, and so we're at 50%. So right now, that's about 9.3 million in revenues, and we had estimated it was gonna be about 18.6
That is
in
correct.
revenue. And that we're actually below what we estimated expenses would be.
Correct.
Okay, so we're at 6.9, which is 40% below what we thought we would be at this point.
Yes.
And if it continues with these trends, then we are on for a budget with more revenues than expenses by the
correct.
time it's done in September.
Yes.
Okay. So can we write that down?
We can-
That's all I asked for.
Yeah, that's what you're asking for,
All
right?
I'm asking for.
Okay,
And I would like to see the amended budget. We passed the budget because I pulled it out of what we approved in the council minutes at $17.9 million. You said we've amended it twice. It'd be nice to see what that amendment looks like.
let's see, we amended, you remember what we amended it for? Off
We
the top of
amended
your-
it to add the zipper, the loader, the parks and pools.
Okay.
Now, $1.7 million.
Okay, the parks and pools are gonna be the one,
Yeah, and the property, the real estate that we purchased.
okay? All
Yep.
right.
It'd be nice to see that on a piece of
Okay,
paper.
so then all we amended the budget as far as pulling money from our general fund would be the zipper and the whales,
We
the,
pulled $1.7 million out of the general fund. Whatever that fund balance may look like.
And the Sky Garden,
Gallery Gardens.
Sky Garden, 900,000.
Okay,
Yep.
all right, go ahead, Victoria, sorry.
That's okay. So really what you're requesting, Mr. Stevens, is a revenue to expenditure report. That monthly report.
Yeah.
Okay,
Compared against the budget we as a council passed. How are we doing performance against that plan,
Okay.
revenue and expenses?
that is definitely doable, since we're not looking at fund balance or balance sheets with anything like that. That's definitely doable. We can present that for the May 5th meeting. Okay,
Jim,
And then-
you add that?
and that does include, the budget amendments that we have also approved.
So what, yeah,
And the report that Mr. Arredondo currently has, it's income and expenditures. So it is not reflecting that transfer within the ledger that shows that it's balanced, that we're pulling from transfer in or general fund.
Okay.
But the budget analysis report will include that.
thank you.
And then the other request that I do have is that I need to submit my investment reports. That is a state requirement. And the last time that I did submit it, you requested to remove it off the agenda. And I completely understand, but it is a state requirement that I need to at least present to city council. And so I have another quarter that I need to submit. It doesn't require approval. I just need to be able to present it.
I requested to be taken off.
You did. It was the first quarter report, and you had mentioned that until the fund balance was determined, you preferred that we remove it. And I
So why
understand.
didn't you raise it at the time that we shouldn't do that?
Yeah, will you add that so we don't forget?
So if I may, I would like to go ahead and present it for,
If
The next
we have
two quarters.
council make comments like you say I did,
Mhm.
you ought to bring it up, says, hey, we need to look at it. I get all that.
So if it's okay, I would like to include those with the minutes meeting as well.
Great,
Okay, that'll work. Thank you.
okay, excellent. All right, any more on this? Because we have a couple more that are very similar.
3 more to go.
All right, Councilmember Stevens, if you would read the and begin the discussion.
So just trying to understand what the amount of city debt by general fund and enterprise debt funds are, including debt for the zipper, the loader, the pool, and the parks that we approved on April 7th. So what is our total city debt?
So the total city debt, as reported, last year's, because it's an annual report, it was 1.9 million. And we've added 210,000, another 331,000, and then the 927,000 that we just financed for the pool, for the city pool, and some other equipment, and the, what was it, the Little League baseball field lights.
So what is all
That's,
that add up?
so that is $3.4 million.
$3.4 million against the general fund.
Some of that will be enterprise funds.
So how much is, I asked,
Yes,
why general fund and enterprise fund?
yeah, we don't have our debt reports not separated like that.
Our debt certainly is.
Yes, but the annual debt report that where I got this information is not separated like that.
Okay, so we don't know how much our debt is in the general fund, and we don't know how much is in the enterprise funds.
We'll have to do a little homework to separate that out.
We go through 2 weeks ahead of time to get items on the agenda, and we've not been able to sort that out.
Yeah,
2
that's,
weeks.
and I'm sorry about that. We've been working on other stuff, and we're behind. We're trying to catch up so we can apply for these grants.
Okay, would you hazard a guess out of the 3.4, how much is general fund?
The general fund, the majority of it, because you've got, some of the equipment, like, the zipper and all that, that's for public works, that's for streets, that's the general funds. Any equipment for parks, Little League, swimming pool, that's all general fund. And Skyway Garden, no, that would be, well, that would, there's no debt on that. That was just, from fund balance.
So over $3 million of debt in the general
General
fund.
fund.
Okay, and the reason in my mind that's important from a council standpoint is $3 million. Do we have any idea what our annual interest rate's gonna be? Don't need to answer that question. That'll be one of the discussions that we get into from a budget perspective going forward, because that ends up hitting tax rate, particularly on the INS. Okay. And it takes away from activities to work on, whether it's police department, streets, and all those sorts of things. So I'm trying to put things on the table so we as council understand the environment we're going to walk into as we think about the budget for 26, 27. And our debt level is going up. That's why I voted against that at the last meeting. And all that takes away from things that we definitely want to go do. So anyway, thank you for answering that question.
Okay. All right, any other discussion on item D, council? Okay, moving on to item C, Councilmember Stevens.
So thank you, Mayor. So discuss the status of completion of the analysis regarding the fund balance. When do we think it will be complete? And what do we know now?
So the, as far as the audits, we've spoken with the auditing firm. They said they feel good about completing by July 30th. But as far as the fund balance, in your 2023 fiscal year audit, the general fund balance was almost $4 million.
But we don't know what it is now.
So in 2021, your audited report had a $2.3 million fund balance. In 2022, the audit report had a $2.9 million fund balance. 2023, which is the last audit, at 3.9. And we looked at the expenses for the prior 2 years. There's not a lot of unbalance there. So we're projecting that the fund balance could be between 3.5, 3.7 million.
And that's for the general fund.
For the general fund.
And what about enterprise funds?
Well, we haven't worked on the enterprise funds.
So the next item is going to be about city budget. If you look at July 31st, you expect to have all of it completed, meaning your fund balance analysis.
That's what the auditors have told us, that they can complete it by July 30th. Obviously, it depends on us too, because we're the ones providing the information that is that they're requesting.
Okay.
Yeah, so
But that, as we know today, that looks to be on track.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, come on up to the microphone. I didn't have to do this a while ago, but would you introduce yourself?
Yes. Victoria Sanchez, Director of Finance. So what we're currently looking at, and one of the reasons that we did not have the information in advance as you had requested, is that I'm going to be honest. We have a lot of work to do. a lot more than when I initially presented to city council. The more that we dig into each fiscal year, the more revisions we're finding. The other thing that we are looking at, that it's something that council will really need to consider, is definitely a new accounting system. The accounting system that we have been operating with for several years was not programmed appropriately. It's not meeting the general accounting standards. So many entries that were being made each fiscal year, if you're looking at entering your data and your debits or credits, whether it's your due tos, your due froms, your accruals, there is a standard we follow. And if you enter it into our accounting system, it does not record it appropriately. So that is what we are running into. Take into consideration, I am one person dealing with the transition with the utility billing, all of the corrections, customer concerns. There are many times when I'm having to be pulled out. Then you're looking at the regular operations, and many of the items that we are having to research, we're having a very difficult time locating them. Everything is pretty much scattered into many different departments or are not accessible. So preparing for the audit, when I accepted this position, I really thought 1 year, because this is pretty much an area of my expertise, and this is definitely nothing that we've seen before. We did call in a consultant with numerous years' experience, and she did come in and she visited with me for about a week. We really thought we'd be able to advance quite a bit. Her reaction was, oh my gosh, this is the worst situation I've ever had to deal with. She goes to different cities and will assist them. So it's not that we're dragging our feet. It's not that we are not capable. We just have a lot of work to do. And unfortunately, when I am pulled out to take care of the day-to-day operations, which is typically what I should be doing, that has taken me away from working on the audit. And because of our accounting system, because that was one of the things I asked, I said, oh, an audit should not be this difficult. The majority of your work is done during the year. You have end of year entries. Your audit should be done within 2 to 3 months. That's not the case here. Because of our accounting system, which is so antiquated, it does not provide the reports that we need in a certain format, does not give us the options. So we're having to literally work on various worksheets to reconcile our departments, our funds, our programs. You're looking at a list this long. And it is so time consuming, because not only that, when we do not reconcile, then we have to go back and research and look for documents to determine, was it grant funded? Was it general fund? Where do we stand? Is it applicable? Once we do locate that, then we're having to make revisions, where reimbursements requested. There is just so much that is taking place. And so it's
2 questions. Is our system gap compliant or not?
I do not believe it is, which is
That's really important statement.
which is the reason that we are having to go back and do everything manually,
I got it. No,
because
I get it. I've spent a lot of time gap, understand all the details. And everything.
absolutely.
Second question.
Mhm.
You probably had the opportunity to look through our past audits.
Mhm.
Has this issue ever been put on the audit report before with Gibson Packard Product?
Yes. There have been management issues regarding the accounting system. There have been so many management issues regarding inconsistencies. There have been the management issues are there.
Okay.
Were they ever addressed? No, sir.
Okay, so is is the accounting system part of our CIP, capital improvement plan?
That is something that we just started researching when we were looking at what was taking place. And so that is probably something that we will need to look at. The vendor just reached out to us. He did provide us with a demonstration. And I believe we just received a quote this morning, if I'm not mistaken.
So back to my question, not appreciate what you're doing and the approach you're taking. Because what I'm trying to understand is your sense of timing relative to understanding fund balance when we start getting into the schedule or putting a budget together. If it's July 31st, according to our schedule that we have, then we're supposed to have a preliminary draft budget on August 3rd. And trying to understand, will you have time to work all that? Because from a council standpoint, we've got to have a budget approved by September 15th, give or take a little bit.
Definitely.
So just thinking about crunch time as we go through the budgets,
Mhm.
because it's going to be revenue and expenses. It's going to be what's the fund balance? What do we need to work to be able to fund the capital improvement plan? How do we work in understanding what's going on with our grants? And trying to understand how all that's going to come together. That's the question. That's where, to me, Henry, all this, and I'm not saying it's easy. I just think we as council are trying to understand what that plan looks like so we can plan, because we have a fair amount of work to do. So,
Yeah, the grant, so we cannot, in the budget, we cannot put the grant revenue unless we have the contract.
I'm with you.
And those grants take years.
No, I'm with you. So part of this discussion about the analysis regarding the fund balance ties right into D and Mayor, if I may, I'm just trying to understand, is this schedule going to get updated? This is the one we looked at a few months ago. And if so, when will we get to see it so we can plan our times and our schedules so we can think about what
Yeah,
the
no, I
priorities
think
look like
that, I think that schedule, because we reviewed it for planning purposes, that's a good schedule.
So it says August 3rd,
Mhm.
you're gonna have a draft budget with the city secretary, because that's when we get the opportunity to do our work. So you're still comfortable that's gonna happen?
Yes.
Okay.
And Henry, what is your solution to fix the situation? Are we gonna continue to hire the accountant that you
Yes,
brought in?
yes,
The
correct,
CPA,
yeah,
is she gonna
yeah,
come back,
Yes.
help?
Yeah, so the auditors are gonna send me a detailed list of what's pending. And then Vicky and I will be looking at it and see how we can allocate, who can do what. And if we need to bring another person in, we bring another person in to help us with that.
It sounds like we need to do that.
Yeah.
And as far as
And
our,
council already authorized that.
Yeah.
When I came before you, you all already approved that.
sounds like we need as many hands on deck as
Yes,
possible.
correct.
And as far as the software that's not gap compliant,
Yeah, that'll be,
that'll have to be the next fiscal year.
And if I may say, it's not 100% not GAP compliant. There are
Would you
portions
explain
that,
to everybody what that means?
there are certain accounting principles that we must follow for governmental accounting. And so typically when you're,
Explain the term gap. Most people don't even know what GA, what it means.
it's generally accepted accounting principles. And so that's what we follow. And so typically when you do have a new accounting program that is purchased and utilized, your debits and credits, your entries are set up to where you're meeting the standards. And so when I did say that we're not GAP compliant, I would like to go back and say we're not 100%, because there are several entries that are correct, but there are others that are not, and it also just depends on certain funds. So as we were over the years creating new funds, some of them were not set up appropriate. Now, as far as our accounting or the audits that are being completed and worked on, that's why it's taking a while, because we are making sure that it is GAP compliant. And so we might not be making all those entries within the system currently, but they are within a worksheet. By the end of the fiscal year, by the end of the audit, then all of those entries are then recorded in our ledger so that our reports are gap compliant. So it's not that we're not, we're just having to work to make sure that we are. And so without a system that makes it a lot easier for us to just make our entries and everything's in line, we're having to go in and make sure that we are compliant. So our accounting standards, as far as the city of Alpine, it's taking us a while, but we are compliant. You know, we're just having to make a lot of catching up and revisions and everything to make sure that we can close out our audit reports the way that they need to be. You know, so that's what we're looking at.
Okay, so if I'm hearing you correctly, it's not as bad as it sounds. It's just, it's a lot of work because of our software.
If we just worked with the software
we
without
need new
making
software.
any corrections, then yes, we probably wouldn't be compliant and so. But the fact that we are addressing it and making all those entries, we are compliant. We will not operate any other way, which is why it's taking us a while to get to that point.
Okay.
And we definitely will. What do we need to meet that deadline? I need to have my time dedicated to the audit. Because every time that I am pulled out for other areas or gatherings or discussions, and I'm really torn because I really need to be present everywhere so I can see what's going on. But we have a critical timeline. And unless I'm able to focus at least 90% on the audit, we won't meet that deadline.
So Henry, what do we need to do to make sure that she can be working?
Yeah, so the first thing is to get the list and that the auditor's gonna send us. And so we can prioritize and get some more hands on deck to help with those. And it just, we're gonna lock Vicky in there and not let her come out.
With a padlock.
And nobody can go in either.
Yeah.
And I do have a couple of medical appointments, but I've worked with Mr. Arredondo to where I'm either working in the evenings or the weekends to make up for that time.
Okay.
Because I know these are critical times, but I've been delaying my appointments and I just can't do that anymore.
No. We need you alive.
I would like to be alive, you know, but we will do everything we possibly can. And like I said, being able to dedicate, because it's hard when I'm working on a worksheet to reconcile and I'm called out. You come back and you're looking at your worksheet thinking, where was I?
Yeah.
Or you're in the middle of trying to research something and you get sidetracked. You know, you have to be focused to make sure that it's correct. So that's what we're looking.
Well, it sounds like Mr. Arredondo has a plan to make.
He
sure
does,
can do
he really
that.
does.
High stakes game. Got a deadline to meet and we gotta apply for those grants.
Yes. Okay. All right, so that was item C. Was there any other discussion on item C?
City. No.
Okay, all right, moving on to item D, Councilmember Stevens.
Yes, and it ties right back to the budget, review the fiscal year 2026 city budget schedule and preliminary expectations of the funding needed to support the draft capital improvement plan. It really is about helping us, Henry. What you just said is you believe this schedule is going to hold.
Yes,
Okay, so we should expect a draft budget August 3rd. And I go back to our priority discussions amongst us as council. You certainly are putting your budget together from a city perspective. We have constituents who have their priorities as well. And what's going in my head is how to balance all that out when we start working through what's going to be most important for people. And I don't know how we're gonna go work that. We had a process before we worked. We don't have that process in place this year. And we have new council members on. We have priorities, which are important. We gotta figure out how to get all of them tied together. You know, things that we hadn't considered before that now are on the table and that are gonna put stress on our budget.
So are you thinking the town halls? What do you
I
think?
think, one of the things I think maybe we as a council ought to do is maybe do a budget workshop to think about what we think our priorities are and allow us to go gather our information from our constituents. We can go organize our own town halls,
Mhm.
but I think bring that back to say, what are the priorities that we need to go off and work and bring those back in here so we can have the discussion.
Thoughts, council?
Yeah. Do it.
Councilmember Escobedo?
I'm relating with the, on how many, question. For a budget workshop, we'll need it.
I think we go to our town halls and come back in for the budget work workshop priorities. I think that'll be helpful. Just set those on the schedule.
Does that sound good?
I'm just worried we're not gonna have enough money. That's my worry. And so I hate to be a chicken little in the sky is falling. I'm looking forward to hearing what the fund balance is. My view has always been, we've had $3 to $5 million of fund balance sitting there. We just didn't know. That's gonna bail us out of a lot of concerns we may have. Which is also why I'm so protective of how much more we're spending, because I would hate to see we consume it and then we get into, I'll just say it, in my mind, some of our highest priorities, our water system, which we know is gonna suck up money like mad, and our wastewater treatment, which we know is gonna suck up money like mad. And I'm worried we'll have expended our fund balance. And as the net result, we're gonna have to go out for debt, which is gonna add on to the rates for utilities, which is gonna be, in my mind, very difficult for people to swallow. So the sooner we understand all that, I think the better it will be.
So on a prior item, Mayor, the enterprise in total, the fund balance was close to $3 million.
In the enterprise?
Yeah, in the enterprise funds, and that was before the 900,000 to the Sky Garden.
Thank you. That's all.
Before,
Okay, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
and then you're saying, you think that the general fund balance is about 3.5, 3.7?
Yeah, I'm thinking that once we get caught up, we'll see a 3.5, 3.7 fund balance for the general fund. And then we were at 3 million for the enterprise funds, take out 900,000 for Sky Gardens, although the solution that we're working on is 600,000, so. Yeah.
Yeah, so in my mind, that's great news.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
close to $6 million of fund balance. We're in an enviable position. That gives us the flexibility.
Yeah.
That's why the sooner we can come to that, the better off we'll be.
What you have is Laura working on grants and
Oh, yeah,
maybe
Yeah.
getting more help on that, trying
Yeah.
to find some
definitely.
grants for water, wastewater. Because wastewater, you said is our
Biggest.
biggest, yes, followed by water.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, anything else on item D? Councilmember Lucas?
I guess if I may just add in there with that, when we move forward, can I please have these numbers before I vote on anything ever again for the city going out to debt? Because this could have changed the way I voted dramatically. If I'd have known like really where we truly are standing, instead of sitting here thinking, our utilities department's running a deficit, we need to increase rates. Our general fund's in a deficit, where are we getting this money from? Why is everybody else telling me it's okay, but what I'm have been provided in the past is telling me quite the contrary. So it'd have been a lot better if we were all on the same page going into stuff like that.
You're here, thank you.
Well, Mr. Stevens, items is, triggered the extra work.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good. All right, moving on to information and discussion. Item E, discuss the status of repairs and improvements to the municipal pool and timeline moving forward. So I asked for our recreation coordinator and our park supervisor to be here this evening to tell us what's going on. Adria, I guess, couldn't make it tonight. If you could come on up, introduce yourselves, and I have some questions for you. Him go first or me? Both of you up at the same time.
Kim Morrow, Recreation Coordinator.
David Martinez, Park Supervisor.
Thank you guys for being here. We really appreciate it. So did Landmark make it today?
Yes, ma'am. They made it this morning at 7:30. So I didn't get my coffee. And so the plan that he said phase one that he said he was gonna do. They were gonna remove all the sand from the filters, which he did. And then the laterals, they're gonna remove them and install the new ones. And they were gonna hold off on refilling the sands for right now. And they started on the repairs on the inside the pool, actually. So all the cracks and all that, and as long as they're here, that's what they're gonna be addressing for right now.
Okay, so they started repairing the cracks even though we're putting a liner in?
Yes,
Don't
I
understand
guess,
that.
some of them are kind of bulky. They wanna go ahead and just level them out so there won't be no creases over anything. They want everything level. And I guess where there's tiles that's missing and all that, they're gonna go ahead and resurface that. So when they install the liner, everything's, nice and smooth. But other than that, I mean, they're supposed to be on time, according to them.
Okay, and so do we have any consultants or experts or anybody overseeing what they're doing?
Yes,
Okay.
he's a project manager and then he still has his foreman.
Oh, but he works for Landmark.
Yes, so
Okay.
he's like the main guy that comes and oversees the project itself.
And what is his name?
Um,
Miles.
Miles West. Huh?
Miles.
Oh, Miles Smith,
Miles.
yes.
Okay, all right, and so we're looking at a Memorial Open Day.
Yes, that's what we told them that that's what the council wanted Memorial Day, so,
Right.
that's what he's shooting for. So hopefully we
Okay,
get that done. I mean, today they did an outstanding job. They were like little beavers just in and out of the tanks and everything. And I mean, I didn't think it was gonna be that fast. So in my opinion, they're right on time or even ahead.
how many people do they have working on it?
I believe 4 plus the foreman and then plus Miles, so. I don't know if more are coming, but for right now, they have those.
I think there was gonna be a crew coming in like the first week and then the last 3 weeks, the other crew. comes
Yes.
in. Something like that, I remember.
Okay. All right, so this was a big expenditure for the city. So Henry, do we have anybody that's going to make sure that the company is doing what they said they were gonna do and follow up with
Eddie
that?
has, yeah,
Eddie, come on up,
Yes.
introduce yourself. They've
Yeah.
already introduced themselves.
Eddie Molnar, Director of Public Works. So, me and David are gonna be working closely with Miles and Chris. Make sure we'll get weekly reports to you guys and to Henry. Make sure we stay on top of things, as we progress. Again, weather permitting, they could stay on schedule, if they have any trouble with their supplies they order and stuff like that, we gotta take that into consideration, but hopefully, we'll stay on we'll keep up and finish on time. I think at first they said something like 6 weeks. That's what we're shooting for, so hopefully they can finish on time and everything before those.
Good.
But again, we'll keep you guys, we'll let you know what's going on here as far as the progress every weekly report.
Weekly report.
Yes.
Good. All right, and the other part of this discussion is, council had talked about this at the last city council meeting, was extending the pool season and operating hours. There was overwhelming support, of course, yesterday on Facebook community regarding that, and also I and Councilmember Martinez and Councilmember Escobedo received an email today that said, thank you for voting for the Alpine pool repairs and pool season extension from Helen Snook. She said, thank you for voting to repair the very important town asset of the Alpine pool. So many children, families, adults, and seniors cool off, get outside, connect, and get exercise at the pool in Coconut Park. In a hot climate like ours with few other swimming options nearby, the pool is a wonderful part of the summer in Alpine. I hope that the council will also vote to extend the pool season to better match the hot season here. I know finding workers is sometimes difficult, but perhaps the pay levels need to increase to make more incentives for people to want to work at the pool. Thank you for supporting our community by your input into the town's decisions. Sincerely, Helen Snook. A lot of residents would like the hours to be beyond 5 because many people get off at 5 and then they don't have the opportunity to visit the pool. It's also warm here, well past our close date of, is it Labor Day or is it prior to Labor Day? Yes, prior, well, whatever. So council, if I remember correctly, looked favorably upon this. Can we talk to that?
Yes, I actually have. I'm sorry, Kim Morrow, Recreation Coordinator. I actually have something to read y'all, just a recap of all of that, supporting that. So, I'm opening the discussion on a proposed improvement to our municipal pool operations, focused on expanding access, improving efficiency, and better serving our community. The 2025 season highlighted opportunities to strengthen how we operate, particularly in meeting the needs of working families and making better use of the facility. The approach I'm introducing reflects those improvements through strategic updates to operating hours and pricing. This is a practical and well-defined path forward, and a complete data-supported proposal has been prepared and will be presented for your consideration, hopefully on the next council meeting. So in 2025, the pool operated for 61 days due to weather, maintenance, and lifeguard availability, with public swim hours from 12 to 5 p.m. We served 2,606 swimmers, averaging 43 per day, and generated about 14,500 in revenue. This season provided valuable insight into how the pool is currently being used and where improvements can be made. A survey was conducted to better understand how current operating hours impact working families in our community. The feedback showed that many residents would use the pool more frequently if it remained open beyond typical work hours, particularly during the work week, rather than relying on crowded weekends. The primary challenge identified is limited access, specifically the 5 p.m. closing time, which prevents many working families from using the facility. As a result, usage is concentrated during midday hours, leading to crowded weekends and underutilized evening capacity. For the record, just want to make this clear, the survey was used strictly for data collection purposes. It did not imply or guarantee any changes to operations, but served as a tool to better understand community needs and inform the recommendation. These questions were specifically geared toward working families whose schedules typically end around 5 p.m., limiting their ability to use the pool under current hours. The intent was to gather meaningful data to evaluate and support a proposal to extend operating hours and increase overall community access and usage. The proposed 2026 model addresses these challenges by extending public swim hours to 7 p.m. unless there is a scheduled pool party at 6 p.m., introducing structured paid lap swim and aerobics, extending the season to approximately 93 days. Late season operations would transition to weekends only, weather and staffing permitting. The pricing structure would shift to a flat rate admission per person, eliminate season passes, and align pool party pricing with regional standards. Based on conservative projections, attendance is expected to increase 60 to 75 swimmers per day, with a total season attendance reaching approximately 5,500 to 7,000 visitors for the season. Revenue is projected between 36,000 and 44,000, with improved staffing efficiency and no planned overtime. Most importantly, extending hours allows working families to access the pool after 5 p.m., creating more opportunities for recreation, improving community wellness, and reduce overcrowding. At the end of the day, this is a model that performs better, serves more people, and uses our existing resources more effectively. Regional comparisons confirm that the approach is both competitive and appropriate. I have done that research, and that is also in the formal proposal that I plan to give to y'all, including numbers, which I know you will like, Rick. So in closing, the proposal is more than extending hours. It's about delivering better service to our community while operating more efficiently. It creates greater access for working families, improving the overall experience for residents, and strengthens the pool as a high impact community asset. So I'd just like to say I'm looking forward to presenting that formal proposal to you in the next meeting.
Kim, you're doing exactly what we hired you for as a recreation coordinator, to look to see how we can better serve the community. And since we have you on board, that helps to man the pool. You are a certified pool operator.
Yes, ma'am.
So that'll allow you to do that. Are you planning to train as a lifeguard as well?
I was in discussions today about that. I am not sure that I am going to pass those prereqs, but I will be able to take the CPR certification for first responders, so that if there is an incident, I am able to help pull them out and also offer the CPR training. It's a little bit step above than what they usually provide for the nurses, but that is something that I will be doing on top of that. So
Okay, and if y'all would stay, because we have this whole discussion item and the rest of council hasn't been able to talk to you about the status of the repairs, the improvement, and then the timeline moving forward as well as the season. So Councilmember Portillo?
No, I mean, thank y'all for everything, and I get it, I mean, weather permitting, there's things that they're gonna run into that we gotta understand, you know, yeah, we're gonna shoot for a deadline, but something happens, then something happens, you know, if it's days later, weeks later, you know. I hope as a council, we understand that, and I hope the city understands that, you know, and at the end of the day, it's about doing it right the first time, and hopefully it'll last us a while. It's all of that.
Councilmember Rickus?
Thank you for your hard work, dedication to the issue. Looking forward to seeing your proposal.
thank you.
Councilmember Escobedo?
Glad that y'all are giving us an update and we'll continue to do that. You're really good. I'm excited about the extra hours and stuff like that.
And the weekly update, Eddie?
Yes.
Councilmember Stevens?
Glad you're here. Great work. Keep it going. Looking forward to seeing your proposal. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to seeing what else you can do for our community. Definitely an asset, and I'm glad that we have you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm glad that we have Eddie and we have David too.
Mhm.
Thank you for what you do. Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to information and discussion, item G. That would be city manager, if you would read that, and then
Discussion regarding collaborative efforts between the city of Alpine and the Alpine Independent School District for joint use of Manuel Payne Field located in Coconut Park. And we have Dr. Michelle Reinhardt here.
what? Oh. We're excited about this.
Okay, well, hello, Dr. Michelle Reinhardt, Superintendent Alpine ISD. Also, I might introduce myself as potential strain on your budget. I think that was some of the fair language a little while ago, so understand that. Also, quick score update. The Bucks baseball team is up 5-3 at Coconut Field right now, and on track to win their first district championship in 8 years tonight. So excited about that. So I know we've been having this conversation over the last few months. Today, really, what I was wanting to bring before y'all is kind of see where we're at, share with y'all updated cost estimates from our sports engineer. Henry and I had a call earlier today with him, kind of talk with y'all about potential interlocal agreement considerations or priorities we would have as a district, and see kind of where y'all are at. If you would like to kind of give us direction to move forward with preparing an interlocal agreement for consideration and approval by the council, or if, you know, the local context has changed somewhat and you feel like it's not a partnership you're able to move forward on. Again, just a quick reminder of our past conversations. The school district is interested in partnering with the city to make significant upgrades and improvements at Manuel Payne Field. If that's not possible, our secondary ask was, would the city be interested in potentially selling that field to the ISD for us to develop on our own? If that's not a possibility, then we would look at building a field on the west side of town. This is a strategic priority of our school board and something that we're really looking to make happen for our middle school and high school players within Alpine ISD, but with all of our softball players from our 4-year-olds in pre-K. I think we have some, not pre-K, wrong meeting, in T-ball, I'm sorry, 3-year-old in T-ball all the way up through who are training to be. They sure are there too. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So a couple of things I'll just start with. Cost estimates. The max budget we're looking at for this project would be a total of $1.3 million split between the two organizations. I think there's some ways that we can come in under that budget, but we also want to be frank and honest about what this could look like on that high end, and not have surprises later where we jointly thought it could come in at 1, but it's really going to come in at 1.3. We would be looking to split that funding 50-50 between the district and the city. So the city's contribution would be about $650,000, which is a significant investment, as would our 50% be as well. From the interlocal agreement, kind of priorities on our side, full transparency, we would be looking for a 10-year interlocal agreement, because that would be kind of the funding mechanism that we would use for the life of, to fund the life of the turf for the field, et cetera. Also, the life of the turf has about a 10-year lifespan. At the end of that time, you have to go in and do turf replacement. Current projections for that from the engineers, today's dollars, not 10 years from now dollars, 150,000 to 200,000 to 10 years from now, if you will, to just replace the turf. Much larger initial investment, because you have to do all of the dirt work, the underlay, et cetera. The turf in many ways is a very fancy, expensive carpet that then gets outlaid on top of it. So we'd be looking for a 10-year ILA. We would also be looking for, and we can work this out with legal on both sides, an option to renew that at the end of the 10 years. Because you can imagine the return on investment for this for the district isn't really at the 10-year mark, it's at the 20-year mark. If 10 years from now, y'all say thank you very much to us and send us on our way, then we'd have to go build a full replacement facility at a much higher cost than what it would take to refresh or renew the turf at that point. Our preference would be to have a year-long lease and to actually have access and oversight of the facility within those 10 years. That means that we would coordinate all events that use the field. So we would work with BBASA for their schedules, et cetera. I know currently they work through y'all in your department, so we'd be taking that part off your hands. We would also want to include very specific, I don't want to call them protections, but really kind of outline in the ILA that we are required to make the field available to the public and to BBASA. That is our intent, but I know that that's a concern that some people have, is if we partner with the district on this, will we actually decrease public access to the facility? Again, we have a proven track record with our gyms across the district and with Buck Stadium football turf of making those facilities available to youth organizations, including now with the addition of soccer lines at Buck Stadium, even though we don't have a soccer program, right, freeing that up for our community as well. And then in terms of maintenance or whatnot, we're happy to take that on as the district. Most of that is routine field maintenance with the turf. It's much less than the mowing and the watering, though there absolutely still is maintenance with that. What we propose to include in the interlocal agreement would be an annual meeting between whoever the city's designee is, whether it's the city manager, parks department, et cetera, and the school district, about what if any kind of maintenance needs are there for the facility for that year, and then talk about potential funding mechanisms. That's something we do currently with Sul Ross State University. It doesn't require that both entities split yearly maintenance on a 50-50 basis, but it requires that both entities meet on an annual basis and talk about what are the needs, and then look at who could potentially fund what to address any maintenance needs. And that's how we work the Coconut Field contract there. And then another part that we would like to see in the ILA is we would request access to be able to use the concession stand as part of the lease. We'd work with, again, the other agencies that use that as well, so we could have different spaces where things are held and work on schedules and all that. We do that regularly right now at Buck Stadium, and kind of speaking it into existence in the future. Were the city able to fix the restrooms right there by the fields, we would request being able to unlock and use those. We would have cleaning crews who come in after each of our games and clean those after each use as well. So those are some of the things we've talked about in terms of what our preferences would be for an interlocal agreement. And really just kind of wanted to get some feedback from y'all about where we're at, where y'all are at, which direction y'all would potentially like to go. And then I can talk about next steps to take it from, something we've been talking about for a while to, is this truly a partnership that we can move forward for Alpine?
Okay, so let me just recap. If I'm hearing you correctly, it's about 1.3 million estimated high.
That would be our top budget. Yes, ma'am.
Split between the two entities 50-50.
Yes, ma'am.
For a city-owned facility.
Yes.
We would have an interlocal agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
Looking at about $650,000 investment from the city standpoint. Over what time frame? Is this all at once? Is this over a couple of years?
It's a good question. So
10 years.
that might be the financing mechanism, but if I'm understanding the question correctly, like when would we need the money by?
$650,000.
Correct, right, or when would you need to pay the vendor $650,000? So we would like to start the project May, June, likely June. May is like next Friday, so probably June, but finish by November. And so everything would have to be paid in that time frame. Whether we each need to pay 50% of each invoice, the 25% down, the 25% once we get to this part of completion, or whether we delineate that in the ILA about who pays which parts. We're flexible on that.
So you said starting in November?
Sorry, no, ma'am, starting in June,
June.
completion by this November. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then you have a track record, AFUB and AISD, of making the field available to the public.
Yes, ma'am.
Because as you may be aware, council has talked several times about wanting to become a tourist destination, as we
Yes,
have
ma'am.
that's climate, and that's another way to bring in visitor dollars into our economy. So we would be able to use that for tournaments. We would
Right.
book through you. Is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
But
And again, we're flexible on what that looks like, but that's the system we use right now. I'll give you another example. Our One Night Play is performing tomorrow night at 7 p.m. You should come check it out at our historic auditorium. But then there's another community-based performance of a different type of theater that's using the auditorium for performances on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and we provide that at no cost. So we have like a form that people come out, here's the dates that we'd like to use it, et cetera, fill that out, and then we coordinate all of that.
So you see that working well with.
Yes, yes, ma'am. So we already follow those same processes for all of our different district facilities, including working with youth sports organizations.
And as far as concessions for those tournaments, AISD would do it? or-
So how we've done that before, same kind of thing with Coconut Field. So when it's our event, we run concession, and then we store our concession goods in this closet at Coconut Field.
Closet.
Yes, ma'am. And then when Sol Ross runs an event, then they store their concession goods over here and sell from the same kind of place. Similar things happen at Buck Stadium, where we have different groups that run concessions in the same concession stand on different nights or for different events. So we would look at coordinating something like that.
Okay, and so we're looking at artificial turf, is what we're wanting for the park. A
Yes,
new
ma'am.
scoreboard, what else?
New scoreboard, adding, so a new backstop. So that backstop isn't high enough for the level of softball we'd be playing there. It's a new backstop system. Also, there'd be a new, we would keep the stands that currently exist with the awnings because we think they provide great shade. We would add in a small, set of bleachers back behind home plate that was kind of tiered a little bit like what's at Sol Ross's field. And then it would have a press box up top that would connect with the scoreboard as well. Also within the plans, we would do dugout refurbishments. We're actually looking at doing those in-house through one of our welding classes. So to that point around, like, we would like to come as far under 1.3 as possible. We'd go for competitive sealed proposals so that really the vendors have to compete and give us as competitive as price as possible, and then look to see if there's ways to save money with things we can do locally versus things we can't, like turf, that we really need the specialists to do.
And did I hear you correctly? You're gonna take on the maintenance, your cleaning crews?
We do. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but you
Okay.
just want to meet once a year.
Correct.
City, whoever the designee is, whether it's David or Henry or whoever.
Right.
About the maintenance.
Right, that would be things like, I'm trying to think of what might happen in this time frame. Say there was, say by year 7, we had holes in fences, or maybe by year 5, you have to replace just the turf that's inset in the batter's box and the pitching mount, right? And so again, just an annual meeting to be like, hey, how's everything going? Are there any specific maintenance needs we would have? What is that going to cost us to replace? What's the funding mechanism for that? So the ILA would spell out that annual meeting has to happen, and that then the city and the district, based on how those two folks kind of determine those needs, the city and the district would have to look at what options, if any, they have for funding them.
Okay. An ILA is interlocal agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
For those of you who may not know. All right, so I'll let council speak, but we have been looking favorably at this as part of the reason we took out the loan that we approved at the last meeting, was to be able to work on funding this. So Councilmember Patia.
No, thank you, Dr. Reinhardt. Yeah, I mean, looking, hopefully we can help out, and move forward with this, because we've been talking about it for a while. And much needed. I know with the big picture that we've been looking at, hosting tournaments and things like that is how much money is brought into the city, and I've been talking about this for heck, a long time, at least since I moved back about 9, almost 10 years ago. And it's good that we're finally at least moving forward on this, on this idea and the vision for the community, so all I got. Thank you.
So you're in favor?
Yes.
Councilmember Ricketts?
Mr. Andovo,
Yeah.
how much money did we have again in the leftovers from the streets and then from the park trail that we were gonna use on the shoot?
So that was,
360.
I think it was
97,000.
I think it was 295, 265 or 295.
Okay, and then we were gonna come up with the difference, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, 5,000. Yeah. Okay. We have any idea where we're about that?
That can be financed over 10 years, the remaining.
Looking at financing and grants and loans or grants. TxDOT had a grant that was, what was it, 90-10?
90-10 or 80-20 that we can look into. Yeah.
Isadora looked into that.
She's looking into it.
So we're looking at coming up with the rest of what we owe, just over that. With the grant, essentially, so looking at coming out of the general fund then and then trying to replace that with grant or.
So the 900 and less than 27,000 if you pay the admin fees for that we took out from the
Yeah,
last
so,
council meeting.
yeah, so
How
we
much of
do,
that-
I'm not worried about the.
Yeah, how much of
Okay.
that would be available to use towards this?
so the, we're financing the pool.
Right,
So,
which was
yeah,
300.
previously, so we could get going on the pool, council approved, was it 265, 295
For the pool?
for the pool? And that was from, reserves, from fund balance, right? And so then we went out for the financing, it was a timing issue. We got the financing now, so that money goes back, and that's close to $300,000 already.
Right.
So how much of that money is left of the,
So
so that you apply towards this?
So there was some, there was $176,000 that was for the lights at the Little League.
Okay.
field.
So take out the 176,000 and the
And then there's-
300,000, so
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah, and then there was some stuff for equipment, different equipment, sweep room, 120,000. I think it was 90,000 for a heavy equipment for the water department. And what else? A mower maybe, what was it, 80,000? Yeah.
okay, so that pretty much takes away that,
Yeah, it takes a lot of that.
the 900,000, okay. So other than loans, what are your other thoughts on where we could get the funding for that?
No, I mean, you can get some from fund balance. You have 3.7, we're estimating 3.7.
And how is that position compared to other municipalities you've worked at? Having 3.7 for a city our
Well,
size.
for a city your size, it's healthy. Yeah. It's very healthy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be,
Usually you wanna have 3 months of operating expenses saved up in case something happens, you're able to continue, that's the kind of like the goal that you have. So
what's 3 months of our operating expenses?
3 months of the operating expenses.
$4.5 million.
In total,
We're an $18 million company.
Yeah.
Divided by 4.
what about that?
So that would leave us with a healthy fund balance. Okay. So those are options. Other questions, Councilmember Lucas? Councilmember Escobedo?
If we have the money, I'm all for it. I'm very much in favor. It is very much needed.
Councilmember Stevens?
Thanks, Mayor. So this goes back to Rob's and my comments a little bit earlier. We feel a little bit blind about what money's available, not available, what our strategy and our game plan is. I'll just tell you, I think this is exactly the right thing to go do. I'll just start with that. Okay. Because as Rich, who has been very passionate about this, it's more than Rich's passion, it's about our kids. And in my view, how do you find anything better than that? You got to help the kids. From a city standpoint, it helps on the revenue side, bring people in. So I think those are all the right things to work. What I'm struggling with, and I'm going to ask a series of questions trying to get down to how do we fill the gap on the money? Because I personally feel a bit blindsided at our last meeting, which is why I voted against the $927,000 loan, because I had no idea what was included in all of that. We never saw a list, never saw anything. We just did not see it at all. Okay. So my understanding is we use it to fund the pool. So the money we had set aside that came out of the ETP fund from before 400,000, roughly 265 to $300,000 left for the pool, that money's available, correct?
Correct.
So that's, I'm gonna round up 300,000 out of 650. Okay, so now we're looking for another 350. This is where I go back to priorities. Our appetite is bigger than our money available to go do things. And when we think about our general fund, which is where this would come out of, we made some decisions at the last meeting about where to go spend some money that I don't think we were perfectly clear about where that money is going to be spent. Set aside the, I'll say $400,000 for the pool, that left $500,000 left. And it sounds like it's getting spent on lots of stuff, which is all good stuff. But when it comes to a priority, this is where we really want to help and understand, and where we get questioned all the time, where the heck did the rest of the $527,000 go? Because my vote, I'd put it towards this. I don't think there's any question about it for that other 350. And I think we have to ask ourselves seriously, even though we made the decision last meeting, which is a higher priority, supporting this or supporting where we put the other dollars? I don't think we're going to come up with an answer to that today, because I think, Henry, you're going to have to go sort that out. You got to manage the departments. That's not our purview. But when we think about priorities, in my mind, we ought to go work it. I would not take any money out, because then you're just, we're paying someone else to borrow their money, which I don't care for from the municipality anyway, and we're gonna have more opportunities to go play with that in the future. We do have a healthy fund balance, which again, thank you for sharing that tonight. That's kind of what I've been asking for the last 6 months. I feel much better of the city fiscal situation. So my view is we have some work to go figure out about where to come up with the other $350,000. But in my view, I would support this. I think we're going to put the ILA together and figure out how we're going to go fund it. And we don't know the answer to that, but I think we had a much more on this thing. So that's my unabashed opinion.
And two ideas off the cuff, again, not in city management, don't know all the ins and outs of that. I don't know, again, if there's any potential mechanism to use hot funds from this cycle and or the next cycle. I know that's not very much, but if it was, that could be a portion of it. And then also the fact that the timeline of this project spans 2 fiscal years from y'all. for y'all if there, which again, you won't know till the end of July, if you have any additional funding at the end of this year and or write a portion of it into next year's budget, you could split some of that impact over the 2
Yeah,
years.
those are great ideas.
Thank you. I forgot about, we had Chris talk to us about using hot funds to do
Right.
this.
So my view is we ought to make the commitment and allow us to go do the homework. We ought to commit. I'm gonna commit, we're gonna figure out how to get $650,000 to go support this. I'll go for that in RB. We gotta pull that in next meeting and get the ILA to work and you guys sort out the details and allow us to go for how to get the money.
Can you put that on the next agenda, please, Gio, for us to vote on that?
You get to look with Ruby.
Yes.
And what
We would
our
see it.
goal is
By
to,
Thursday at 5.
our goal would be to have a draft to y'all for your next
We'll
meeting.
just need-
And then maybe vote on it mid-May, if that makes sense, just because the timing of working with legals on both sides.
Wait, I didn't.
So
hear you.
sorry.
Gio was saying he needs any documentation by Thursday at 5.
Okay, so,
Well, could we at the next meeting pass a resolution of support for this activity?
yes, sir.
And that allows you to press forward, allows you guys to go figure out the ILA.
Yes,
And then we'll figure out the rest of the stuff later on, but that allows you to go back to your board that says, they're in,
Right.
we're in, we're moving.
right. And then our goal would be that your second May meeting, May
Yeah.
18th-ish, we would have a finalized ILA. I guess my only other question for us to go do our homework from is, I do understand the importance of this being a publicly accessible resource for our community. I understand the importance of us working with BBASA on this. Happy to meet with them during this ILA process as well, make sure that their needs and interests are reflected in that agreement. Are there any other kind of priorities from the council that you would like to see reflected in the ILA that we haven't talked about here today?
You're smart about it.
Absolutely. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. But if there is anything else, let us know along the way so that we can refine.
Okay, so that will work for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, great.
Okay, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Ryan.
y'all. Appreciate it.
With that, I have a couple of requests to take a 5-minute break. Let's take a 5-minute break. 7:31. That would be.
Hey.
Oh my. All right, in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
200.
3, 2, 1. All right, and we're back from break. Okay. Moving on to Councilmember Ruckus, if you would read and begin the discussion.
Discuss of the utilities water rate study, originally conducted in 2023 and updated in 2025 by Committees Unlimited. Sorry, in our last meeting, I brought this up. I wasn't really aware that we've had a I don't know why I keep saying that, compensation rate study, but a water rate study. When I first got on the council, I was a part of Andy giving us our wastewater rate study that was tied into the project that we have been doing out at our wastewater treatment facility. And so when our city manager let us know that we had one, I wanted for all of us to be able to get the opportunity to see it if you haven't already. I also want to discuss it because after I got to read over it, I guess I have a number of questions and also want to see where y'all stand with it and what direction we want to take now that we've seen this. I understand where Ms. Arundalo is coming from at our last meeting, that our CIP is definitely going to play into what a rate study is. I'm very aware of that. But I think where my frustration was when I was reading this back in 2023, they literally predicted that we were going to be in a deficit with our utilities department. And I don't know why we didn't at least get the ball rolling there. I think it was, if I remember correctly, $6 over the next 5 years. And so we could have gotten that going to where at least we weren't hemorrhaging out of our general fund into our utilities department. Potentially helped us with projects that we have coming up, and the projects that we want to take on, which that can be worked in. But I don't know where y'all stand with potentially getting this going now, or when we do finish our CIP, working that in sooner than later, so we're not kicking this can down the road empty anymore. Let's put some money in it and get it going.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you're saying the $6 rate increase, we should have started that back in 2023. Is that what you're saying when you say getting this going?
Yes, ma'am. I would imagine, right? Because COLA's been going up, so we've given everybody raises as far as staff. Insurance is going to go up. Our fuels, look at our fuel. Our guys are driving around everywhere. We got fuel costs increase. Like, it's not getting any cheaper for us getting water out of the ground to chlorinate it, to get it pumped up here. We got prices of pumps are through the roof right now, especially the sizes that we have. We're running them. I wish Mike would have hung out, but we're running those ragged. We have plenty of leaks. Like, we have no shortage of stuff to cover, right? And so obviously with all of that, that has to go into the cost of our gallon of water, right? That or the product we're selling. And I mean, they predicted it, so it's like it was self-evident here that we needed to me, and I guess I'm biased. I own a plumbing company, so I understand the cost of these things, and so think that we should do our due diligence to definitely do it. Am I in support of having to make things more expensive? Absolutely not. But unfortunately, look at everything. Everything's going up. It's
Right, so you're saying that in 2023, when they originally did the rate study, their advice to us was to increase water rates in order to account for inflation and cost of living. The printed copy here, I missed the date, Henry or Chio. Was this the 2023 study?
This is a 2025.
Yes.
Or the updated 2025. So at that point, they said the city of Alpine may consider rate adjustments to generate at least $2.9 million to avoid future deficit of negative $289,325. These high cost expenses have adversely affected the city's budget. Salary increase is anticipated as the cost of living, administrative fees, insurance coverage. And so I'm on page 82 of 124 for those of you in council and anybody watching the video afterwards. On page 83 of 124, the board should require monthly calculation and reports of water production costs per 1,000 gallons along with water loss. So we should require these. We should hear about these monthly is what they were recommending. This consists of evaluating the total number of meters, their ages, types, sizes, evaluating 5 meters from each size. The results will offer valuable economic insights, develop a meter replacement plan. Additionally, the board, council in our case, should consult with water loss experts and agencies such as the Texas Water Development Board or the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality for staff and board member training to help prevent loss of our resource of water, which is in the business we're wasting our money. And so you're asking, the purpose of this discussion is to ask council if we want to think about raising rates now or waiting until we have the CIP or what's the other option?
Well, I mean, that's just where I'm at. I'm sorry. I don't have like a clear direction for us. I wanted to see where y'all all stood, where y'all wanted, what your advice is, because we're right here on approving our CIP. But I mean, are we gonna have to, and forgive me for my ignorance on this, but are we gonna have to rework this study? Are we gonna have to update it again with our CIP getting involved in this? Or do you think we should potentially start with slowly incrementally increasing our rates as this is suggesting, and then or immediately, and then as we work our CIP and figure out, all right, so instead of in 5 years, we're at $6, we're gonna be at $8 because we now worked our CIP into it, but we start off with 2.
So the quickest thing would be, you could increase the recommendation that it has. But it also says that any future water system improvements may need accompanying adjustments to the overall rate structure. So, and we don't know, we don't know the true cost of that right now, so it's gonna take some time for that.
Right.
Right now, we're just putting estimates out there. And then it could take another year to get to that, okay, this is the actual cost.
Okay, so then with that, then we have, you already know, you're aware of our projects we got coming up with our southeast side, getting our booster pump going and getting it tied into our upper hill tank so we can get into compliance with TCEQ with those 462 odd taps or what have you. So there's another almost $1 million there. And so that's inevitably going to have to be worked in, not to mention the other, what's it? Sorry, I should have written that number down off of our, oh no, because we didn't know. But whatever out of the $17 million is going to be out of our, or I'm sorry, the number was there. Here, I can look at it. Sorry. Yeah, but for wastewater. Or no, I'm sorry, it's all worked in here, so I would have to add it up. I'm sorry, I should have added that up. But regardless, whatever our CIP total for utilities is gonna be, that's all gonna have to be worked in here. Say it does take years, so it'd probably be in our best interest to at least go off of this to where we're at least moving in the right direction, trying to get our utilities out of a deficit.
Yeah. Because we'll apply for the grant, let's say we get it, then it's gonna take a year to do all the design work and all that, and then we have to come to council, you approve the design, whatever it is, then you approve for us to go out for bids, then we go out for bids, then we evaluate the bids, bring it back to council, then you finally approve it. Once you approve it, then we have a dollar figured out. Now we know what it's gonna cost.
Right.
And all that's gonna take a year, year and a half.
Absolutely. And that just pays for the project, but that doesn't pay for the upkeep of
Oh,
that
correct.
infrastructure.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to pay for without hemorrhaging our general. In my opinion, at least that's where I stand. I'll make a note, like, I don't ever think that our general fund should support an enterprise fund in any sort of way. I think they should be ran just like a business and self-sufficient in every possible way, in a manner to where we're not gouging people, but also in a sense to where it can have a bit of a surplus to roll over to where when we have to come up with $1 million to fix something, we have the money there.
And I noticed on page A3 of 124, the first paragraph, their recommendation was future rate increases should be considered on an individual basis with high-end users paying more per 1,000 gallons. This typically applies to those using 10 to 20,000 gallons or more per month. Is that what you're thinking?
I mean, I don't really,
That's typical.
yeah,
The one that uses them more.
I know like, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think with the way we're using it now, it's kind of like a scaling. The more you use, the more you're gonna pay for that water. And then, Kara, you may be able to, speak on this more intelligently than I can, going to, or having the certification that you have and the education you have, the experience you have, and the, water conservation, conference you just got out of. Yeah, I don't think it's a surprise, but we live in a desert and water is definitely, a precious resource that we have out here and not copious amounts of. So I think it should be. If you'd like to come up here, man, just in case you have anything, but I'm sorry. It's fine. I'm also in the belief if we're gonna do something, we do it right the first time, so we have to keep readdressing something.
Kira Daniel,
Thank you.
Assistant Director of Utilities, Water and Wastewater.
Ashley Daly, Compliance Technician for the Water Department.
Yeah, so, one thing I do want to mention, you know, as we're looking at, you know, raising utility rates is water loss. Like right now, Ashley's working on, some reports to the Texas Water Development Board, that are required annually. There's a water use survey and a water loss audit. I mean, we have, based off of our initial, you know, numbers, we're still working through it, but we do have evidence of unaccounted for, unmetered water usage.
Yep.
So I think getting down to the bottom of that and trying to find out, you know, where, you know, and it's water loss in gallons and it's revenue loss as well. So I think that's something that we definitely need to take into consideration, you know, while we're, you know, evaluating raising the rates. But yeah, as far as, you know, we've been having some discussions about updating our water conservation plan, restrictions. I mean, frankly, I'm surprised that Alpine doesn't have like, for example, like residential lawn watering restrictions where certain days are for, you know, house numbers ending, odd numbers, even numbers. They have certain days that they're allowed to, not like hose end watering, but I mean, you know, sprinkler systems, irrigation systems, and times of days, things like that. And, you know, users like Sol Ross, you know, using a lot of water to water their grass and things of that nature. And also looking more into using like our effluent, our treated effluent for irrigation purposes. So yeah, just things to definitely things to take into consideration. As you know, when considering raising utility rates, I would suggest.
Those surveys and water loss reports also, those are also due by the deadline to apply for the grant. And there's no waivers if you miss those, so they're also working on that.
That's July, correct?
That's July, yeah.
May 1st.
Are y'all gonna?
Oh, it's May 1st?
Well, no,
But
well,
the
cer-
water
yeah,
loss
certain
lot.
report, yeah, certain reports, the first one's due May 1st, but for the grant application due July 30th, all those have to be submitted also.
Your deadline's May 1st, your
Yes.
deadline's July 30th.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we're kind of working in tandem.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
You
what
gonna, you gonna share that with us?
yes, sir. We absolutely can.
Absolutely.
Thank
Yep.
you.
As
Mhm.
soon as we're fully completed, I will hand you all of our numbers gladly.
Did you have any preliminary assessment right now?
So we do have the water use survey completed right now. We're still looking at some numbers, making sure that I am doing it correct. This is the first
Okay.
time that I've ever done it, so
Oh,
really
which is
trying to
fine.
meticulously get
Good.
it. But it has been submitted, and of course, whenever I get new information, I can unsubmit and tweak it as I need it. And they are aware that I am new at this and we are investigating some things and making sure that it is correct. We did realize in previous years that it was not. So just really want to make sure our numbers are correct.
Good.
She's doing a great job.
I'm trying my best.
Yeah.
As of right now, we have a total of 54 unmetered meters, which means we're not getting paid for those.
It's probably much higher. And that's just a.
Yeah, this is more on a low end of everything.
Mhm.
Yes, you're not gonna like the dollar amount, I'll tell you that.
What is the dollar amount?
Oh,
As of right now, and again, still looking at everything and tweaking numbers, we're
No.
looking at $71 billion in lost
Billion?
revenue. Yes.
that seems awfully high. So I definitely want to look into it, make sure that
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
accurate. But
Okay.
it's safe to say that it's
It's gonna be.
hundreds of thousands
there.
or, you know,
Uh-huh.
It's
yeah,
a
a lot. I'm sure.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Okay.
And what is our current loss that you have right now?
In gallons,
Yes, ma'am.
let's see. Parent,
Is it in the millions?
8 billion gallons of water.
Seems awfully high. So again, you know, these are preliminary. We're working through the calculations, but it's definitely, you know,
And it's added
A lot.
in with leads, giving to the fire trucks to fill up, our jetters.
Yeah.
Every little thing is put into this.
yeah. And she's finding, you know, she's diving into just, you know, the instructions and making sure she's, you know, entering data correctly. And it does appear that in the past, we've been definitely underreporting
Okay.
water loss.
And are you
Yeah.
currently working with Carmen on making sure our dollar amount is correct?
I will have to get with her on that. I'm still looking through our reports throughout last year, since we didn't have anyone after June,
Yeah.
maybe somewhere around there. So trying to shift through everything, putting it together and making sure it's there in order. I don't want to be pulling numbers out of a hat.
Councilmember Stevens?
Yes, thanks, Mayor. Just an observation, which ties back to the whole budget discussion and capital improvement plan. As I look through more details about where we are, right now, our capital improvement plan for utilities is only $215,000 would be for next year. In my opinion, that seems, given where we are with water and wastewater, that is inordinately low.
Yeah.
And not trying to pick on another department, but the gas department's got $1.3 million. And so I think one of the things we want to talk about, and I don't want to pit Randy versus Mike and Kira, but frankly, my opinion is we ought to be working on our water meters before we work on our gas meters.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm one, that's
I would
one.
agree with that.
Okay.
I may be
Yeah.
honest about it.
We're advised
And-
though.
But we got $1 million in for automatic meters for the gas and Zippo for the water meters. And so I'm just, as we work through our budget, these are things we're gonna have to work our way through. And to what really, I think Rob drove you to this discussion about the water rates. I go back to the schedule here. This says June 1 approval of fee schedule. Would that include water, gas, sewer and all that? Okay, and I don't know how we approve that without an understanding about where we're going on total budget, because it ties back into, I think there needs to be an incremental, at least cost of living for water and gas and all the other enterprise funds that we support. And then trying to figure out what that might look like going forward. I just think if all we're looking is $215,000 for our capital improvement for our water department, we are selling our water department way short, because then it hits $2 million the year after that, then it hits $7 million the year after that. I think we need some more linearity, if I could use that word.
So the reason for that is because the major dollars are in the PIFs that we turned in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, and that's the water and wastewater.
Yep.
And the fund, you know, you won't actually get to work on those till like 2 years from now.
I know, but we're spending now water. That's I'm just looking at where our biggest
And,
risk
and the
is.
reason for that is because first, we're applying for grants.
Yeah, yeah.
If you wanna go ahead and spend the money, we'll put it in next year. But then, that's not a grant.
I know. It's the balance so I appreciate the strategy. Don't get me wrong there. I think it's right. But I do think when we think about resources and back to the point about additional dollars, we got to talk about a fee that we're going to end up in the budget, whether we spend it all to meet our needs, we had to start building, and good news is in enterprise funds, we have at least $2 million sitting there. That's good news. My view, we may want to say we're going to spend $1 million on water next year because we've got it in the bucket and we don't have to take on debt while we wait for the other things to come on board. To me, those are strategic financial discussions that's why, to me, fund balance is so critically important because it allows us to make some strategic decisions to meet the needs of the community. At the same time, allow us to work our strategy about how we go
So
forward.
like with the gas meters, these funds with the big beautiful bill, it's only for water. Oh, it's not for gas.
Yeah.
Okay, but if we want to move the meters for water,
Yeah.
and we can move them in, but we pay cash, not grant.
No, I get it. We have $5 million of fund balance. I really think we need to talk about where we are on our rates and start incrementally working it up. People do not want to get a big 15 to 16% increase. Every one of us will want to
I don't
take.
think you're saying that.
No, but
Yeah.
if we start working our 2 to 3% a year, we start building up the equity that we need to be able to go do what we need going forward. And then we can decide if we get grants, great. If not, we make our decision about where we're going to spend dollars. So.
Councilman Burkus.
If this is a bad idea, shoot me down. I'm all right with it. I think the numbers that would be good to see would be our ROI on doing that move and potentially paying for it ourselves, right? Because if we moved, it's 1.8 for our meters projected here in 2 years, granted to be grant funded would be great. But we're no longer reading meters. And so what's our savings going to be on overtime from them balancing reading meters for 3 weeks out of the month and balancing emergencies and doing the other tasks that they have to be done? We got 55 meters as of right now that are unmetered. That smart meter is going to solve that issue because we're going to know exactly when and how much much water that they're using, whether they're a terminology I'm looking for, a meter that's in service or not, to where are we actually looking at that meter every month if it's in service or not, and so we can counter costs there as well, and seeing if we adapt that sooner than later, is it in our best interest to do so? As far as that's one thing I think I would like to see. I don't know where y'all stand with that. I'd like to see those numbers. Maybe it pans out. Maybe it's in our best interest to wait 2 years potentially to do it with a grant. But I think it'd be a vital asset to our utilities department either way.
And I also think that the citizens would appreciate it too.
Absolutely.
I mean, it will resolve a lot of
Yeah.
issues.
And then not to mention how many meters we have out there that's not accurately reading. So what's our real
Exactly.
loss there
Yeah.
as well. So if we
And,
have
and another
meters
thing,
across the board.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
And it's another, a form of water loss is essentially water theft that we're discovering.
Right.
We need to, have better procedures for locking our meters, because, we're finding that, meters that were locked, that maybe not locked very securely, have been essentially tampered with, unlocked. And there's, a year or, maybe even longer of water usage that's not being accounted for, because if we think a meter's off, it's not, doesn't show up on our list to read essentially.
And then to your point, when I go leak detection, my first point, I start at the meter. Is it spinning or is it not? I can't tell you how many meters I've
There's
looked
so
at in
many
the city
meters,
that don't even have a curb stop that can be locked, gate valve.
Yeah.
So we don't even have any means
Yeah.
to effectively prevent that.
I almost think the money spent on the water smart meters will pay for itself pretty quickly.
Yeah, and so that's where I'd
Yeah.
be interested, where my ROI would be. to say, all right, we're not gonna go out for a grant, we're gonna take this out of our, I think you said $3 million in our enterprise. I don't know where that divvies between utilities, wastewater and, gas, but depending on how that works. It may be in our best interest to do it sooner than later, but I would like the numbers before I just go shooting in the dark. What, I'm sorry, in your opinion, what,
I think they're both good strategies. If you wait for the grant, then you lose, income, right? For the water loss and all that, and the inaccurate meters and all that. That's a current problem that we have. If you go for the meters, you're still gonna have a good return on the investment, and, you know, we can apply for a different grant.
Yeah.
If that's the way council wants, we can move it up.
President Beta? I think that would be something to bring the also at our town office, I to like the citizens.
Bring what up?
You know, like the increase of what they want, like to get either the grant or.
I mean, unfortunately, water rates can go up.
Yeah.
Because our cost is
Nobody
going up
wants that.
regardless, with every year we pass COLA, the increases, not just on our labor and overtime on utilities. Our repairs don't get any cheaper. All material goes up. Unfortunately, that's one thing we're not gonna be able to get away from.
Councilmember Portillo?
So if this study was done in 23 and they were suggesting to start increasing, then why wasn't it ever done? Was that on, I mean, yeah, I mean, it just, but it was presented to the council and everybody and they shot it down. At the point is what I'm saying, is what I'm thinking.
I think probably administratively, you have turnover in your key positions, it just gets, you know, maybe pushed aside. And then you just focus on the, you know, what you need to focus on, like, you know.
So I mean,
I don't know if it was, I don't remember if it was brought to council, we'd had to go through old minutes and.
okay. But I mean, I'm with Rob and everybody else. I mean, this is probably the biggest priority that we probably have is to get them smart meters in water. Even over gas and everything like that with all the studies that they've been doing. You know, and investigating and it's big. I mean, who would have knew? I mean, who would have ever thought unless they came in? You know, and how long has it been going on? You know, all this stuff.
Probably a long time.
It was presented at a workshop meeting in March of 2024.
This was the rate study.
Yes.
Deeper of all knowledge.
Councilmember Lucas.
Food for thought. What it would also help alleviate, we have a lot of estimating. So our gas department, from my understanding, and be correct if I'm wrong, has no problem getting their meters ready. Our utilities department,
Already.
no, they're not.
They're not smart.
Not for
In Fort
gas.
Davis it is.
Not yet.
Not yet.
We never
Not
got
yet.
that money. Yeah, we were supposed to, but we ended up holding out on it. But from my understanding, they don't have issues. Our utilities department does. And it's at no fault of their own. We have emergencies and they have to pull off doing that to address water leaks. And then we have billing issues where it's like estimated. Congratulations, here's a huge bill.
Yep.
You know, and so that would alleviate that headaches for our billing department as well as our constituents. And right now that's a major headache, unfortunately. So this would alleviate that entirely.
Yes. And it's at, it would take about 3 to 4 months to do the water meters. Okay. Good.
Else? Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Welcome, Ashley.
Okay, Victoria, if you come on up, Victoria needs to add some information in regarding item 10C. Discussion item 10C.
Victoria Sanchez, Director of Finance. And I just wanted to make sure that I clarified part of my statement. there was quite a bit of discussion regarding the errors, the audits, the corrections and everything, the gap, the accounting system. And so I do want to make it clear two things. One, no, I am not pleased with the accounting system we have because there are many limitations. It is very antiquated. We are having to work double, triple just to secure any reports and anything that we need. So the accounting system itself is not one that I would recommend that we continue with. Definitely, it is lacking in many areas, and that would help us keep maintain current and have the proper reportings because we're having to cut and paste, manipulate, and spend so much time just to get that in there. So that is my major concern with the accounting system. I will say though that the representative has been really good about anytime I've had to reach out because we can't log in, it's kicked us out, we're having issues. Cliff is really good about reaching out to us. So that is something that I do want to make clear with the accounting vendor that we currently have. Now, as far as gap, I was focusing on closing end of year entries. That's where I have the issue. The accounting itself, by the accounting vendor, they are gap compliant. They are absolutely gap compliant. So that is something that I really wanted to make sure that we clarified. What was set up to where we're having issues with the accounting and the debits and the credits and everything. It is the way that we internally set up accounts back in 2012, 2013. So I just want to make sure that it is clear that this was something that we actually, individuals, it was the way that it was set up back then. So I just want to make sure that we understand that it's not the vendor nor their system. It's something that we're facing that has pretty much rolled forward each year. So that is something that I really do want to make clear. And so we are having to work on our worksheets, and instead of processing a certain way, we're having to reverse it just in order for the entries to be correct. And that is where I felt like the initial entries are not compliant, but we're correcting it to make sure that we are compliant. And so that is just something that I really wanted to make sure that we're looking at. The accounting system does have the payroll and we're looking at capital assets, we're looking at accounts payable, your receivables. And so we are working with that. We definitely do need to change our accounting program. And we did, when we found out that the entries were not properly recording in the system because of the way that we set it up, I did contemplate whether we should go ahead and correct it. But at this point, correcting it is going to undo all the entries that we've done for many years. And so right now, what we are working on is to have it as current and as accurate as possible. That is why it's taking us so much time. You know, so I know that there was just so much discussion and I was answering so many questions that I thought I need to clarify this.
Yeah.
You know, to make it known that it's the way that we set it up. It's not the vendor on there. Mm-hmm.
Councilmember Lucas.
Have you demoed any new programs yet?
We did.
You did, okay.
We did. I've attended a couple of conferences and the majority of the cities were talking about Encode and with Tyler Technologies. When our consultant was here that week, she was actually, she provides assistance to several municipalities. So she logged into their system and actually gave me a little demo on her own, and which was very similar to the accounting features that I have had with my previous experience. And so I was excited, and then we did reach out to Tyler Technologies. They came down and gave us a full demonstration. I had my finance team here, HR, grants, capital assets, And the look on their faces was just, they were amazed at how much more we can do with that accounting software and how much time we will save based on what we're having to use right now.
How much are we currently spending on the current software we have now? You know,
Oh,
roughly, plus or minus?
I want to say that it's less than 10,000, probably less than 20. And
New software you're looking at?
you're looking at anywhere that's going to be like 50 plus. And they said that's pretty standard for an accounting system.
So it would be more expensive annually, but we'd be saving money in the amount of time that we're wasting.
Definitely. And I really feel that the time within closing our years and having an audit done would definitely be cut significantly. Because if we have the appropriate accounting system and we're current, we can have it done in 2 to 3 months. It shouldn't be this difficult. And that means that our audit fees will decrease significantly. Currently, we're paying quite a bit because we're having to make so many adjusting entries. We're having to make so many corrections. We're having to do quite a bit of research. So I know that a new accounting system will cost us more than what we're currently paying, but you're looking at the savings with the audit fees. You're looking at the savings with having to constantly call on consultants or anything that we're currently facing. You know, that in itself will.
Would we entertain perhaps council a workshop to go over our moving to another accounting software and potentially looking at what those costs would be and then how much would be saving in audit fees as well as roughly, and I know you're busy, so I don't want to put more on your plate, but I also want to equip you the best we can. What our labor hours potentially would be on savings as well.
Okay, that would definitely be something that we would work with. I do request. That's what I was gonna say. As long as it's after we complete and finalize the audit, it's something that we definitely need to move forward to.
Are y'all interested in doing something like that?
In my view, short answer is yes, and I would add, let's take into account lessons learned from our utility
Yes.
billing system.
Yes.
That too, so let's please do our due
Mhm.
diligence.
Yes,
A smooth
and-
transition.
And we definitely have because the ones that I have visited with are really pleased with the system. And of course, with any transition to a new program, you're still gonna have your bumps along the road, but from what I've heard, it has not been significant. And the other thing is Isadora is just amazing because she has seen what we've been going through with the utility billing software. She sent out a list to Tyler Technologies. Can you guarantee this? I mean, everything that we have faced with the utility billing software, she was asking him for assurances. You know, what are we looking at? So it's something that we are taking seriously, you know, but thank you for letting me come back up and clarify because I thought in the heat of the moment, I'm talking about everything we're running into, but I wanted to make sure that it was known that it's not the vendor, no, and that the vendor is GAP compliant.
Okay.
You know, it was internal,
Okay.
but we're gonna get it.
Thank you.
Do we want to do a tentative date for a workshop this like at the end of August or September?
Sure, let's do it.
Can I suggest we push October because
Oh,
we
yeah,
gotta
after
have
budget,
budget.
yes, sir.
Let's get the budget out of the way. Yeah.
So maybe the first meeting in October, second meeting in October.
Let's get budget out of the way because poor Victoria and Henry are gonna be going nuts at that time. They're gonna be responding to us. We're gonna work out, they need time to think about it. Yeah,
Would the first meeting in October work or is that too soon?
they just got it on my budget.
I think, yeah, October can work.
It'll work.
Okay,
so-
Yeah, it'll be what's gonna be.
October 6th.
I'll see it on Gino's agenda. Oh, that's your title, I think. Yeah.
Council meeting and accounting software workshop. Everybody good? Yep. All right, moving on to action items. Action item A belongs to city manager. If you would read that, start our discussion.
Approve the second and final reading of ordinance 2026-04-03 and ordinance approving rezone application 2026-04-01, amending the official zoning map of the city by rezoning the property located at 205 South Berkeley and legally described as all of lots 8, 9, 10, 11, Lot 2, Berkeley, addition to the city of Alpine, Brewster County, Texas, as the same appears in map or plat records on file in the office of the county clerk of Brewster County, Texas, rezoning the subject property from R-2 two-family district to R-4 mixed residential district, providing findings of fact, repealer, severability, effective date, proper notice, and hearing clause.
Need a motion?
We approve the second final reading of ordinance 2026-04-03 as presented.
I need a second.
Second.
Okay, discussion, city manager. And this is the second reading, so. You already have a good background.
Okay, this item requests the city council approve of the final reading of ordinance 2026-04-03, which would amend the city of Alpine's official zoning map by rezoning the property located at 205 South Berkeley from R-2 two-family district to R-4 mixed residential district. The rezoning request was initiated by the property owner to allow for the placement of a manufactured home, a use that is not permitted under current R2 zoning designation. In accordance with the state law and city procedures, the Planning and Zoning Commission conducted a public hearing on March 23rd, 2026, and recommended approval of the requested zoning change. Public notice requirements were satisfied through publications in the city's official newspaper and mail notice to property owners within 200 feet of the subject property. The proposed rezoning is intended to provide greater flexibility in residential land use while remaining consistent with the city authority to regulate zoning under chapter 211 of the Texas Local Government Code and the city charter.
Okay. Any discussion, council? This is the second, let's vote.
Aye.
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 City Secretary, council voted unanimously to approve the second and final reading of ordinance 2026-04-03. Please note, Councilmember Martinez is absent due to illness. Thank you. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Okay, action item B, city manager.
Approve the first reading of ordinance 2026-04-05, an ordinance amending chapter 23, City Council of the Alpine Code of Ordinances, amending Article 2, Rules of Procedure by revising section 23-9 to clarify that all members of the city council, including the mayor, may place items on the agenda subject to established administrative procedures, ensuring consistency with the city charter and providing for findings of fact, inclusion in the code of ordinances, cumulative severability, proper notice, and meeting, public hearing, and an effective date.
I need a motion.
I move we approve the first reading of ordinance 2026-04-05 as presented.
I need a second. City manager, start the discussion.
Okay, the need for this amendment arose from the current ordinance language, which has been interpreted to require sponsorship of resolutions and ordinances by a council member or city manager. This provision has had the practical effect of limiting the mayor's independent ability to place such items on the agenda. Upon review, this restriction was identified as potentially inconsistent with the city charter, which defines the governing body as consisting of the mayor and council members and vests legislative authority collectively in that body. The proposed amendment clarifies that the mayor, as a full member of the growing body, retains equal legislative authority to introduce agenda items, including ordinances and resolutions. At the same time, the ordinance preserves existing administrative process for the agenda submission, documentation requirements, legal review, and coordination through the city secretary and the city manager to ensure orderly and efficient governance.
Okay, so Gio, if I remember correctly, this ordinance is very lengthy because there was a council meeting, I believe Councilmember Stevens and maybe Councilmember Escobedo were on that, where we went through this ordinance over several
Ah.
workshops amending. And there was something in there saying that the mayor could not put ordinances and resolutions on there, which the city charter states that the mayor can do that, so it's a violation of that. The city attorney looked this over and agreed with that. Okay. All right, Councilmember Stevens?
A little bit of history. The reason that got put in, there was a mayor at one point in this city who kept loading stuff on that none of the city council members wanted to talk about. But that's what caused it to change. So I'm going to change my back. That's the history.
Yeah, I've heard that history.
Yes.
Councilmember Escobedo,
Okay.
Councilmember Lucas,
I'm fine.
Councilmember Dean, let's
Fine.
vote.
Aye.
City Secretary, Council voted unanimously to approve the first reading of ordinance 2025-04-05 as written. And we know Councilmember Martinez is out sick. All right, action item C, Councilmember Stevens.
Thanks, Mayor. So approve resolution 2026-04-12, resolution naming the city-owned real property located at the corner of Fifth Street and Avenue E as Art Walk Plaza, recognizing Art Walk Alpine as this historic cultural event contributing to the development of the downtown murals and tourism, providing findings of facts, and providing for an effective date. And I propose that City Council approve this resolution.
I need a second.
Second.
Good. And discussion, Councilmember Stevens.
I think we've been through it. We talked about it, and this was an action that we took out of the last meeting after we talked about it. That says, let's get on with naming it and move forward.
That's right. Very good. All right, let's vote.
Aye.
Aye.
City Secretary, Council voted unanimously to approve resolution 2026-04-12.
Guess we need to get a few styles over here to change the name, eh?
Yeah. Okay, action item D, City Manager.
Approved resolution 2026-4-13, a resolution approving and adopting an official city logo to represent the city of Alpine in public communications, marketing, and brand efforts.
Okay, I need a motion.
We approve resolution 2026-04-013 as presented.
I need a second. Okay, discussion, City Manager.
So the background: on September 30th, 2025, the city of Alpine and Brewster County held a joint workshop focused on regional economic development with emphasis on leveraging Alpine's location within the Big Bend International Dark Sky Reserve to enhance tourism and economic activity. Following this workshop, the mayor and interim city manager directed staff to develop logo concepts that would reflect Alpine's identity and strengthen municipal branding. The city council reviewed the initial concepts on January 6, 2026, and provided feedback for refinement. Revised versions were presented again on February 17, 2026, and a subsequent item was placed on the March 3rd, 2026 agenda for potential adoption. During that meeting, the council elected to continue the item to allow for additional refinement based on stakeholder input. The version presented for adoption reflects the fourth iteration of the proposed logo, incorporating feedback from the council, employees, residents, and community stakeholders. Revisions were made to ensure clear municipality identity, reduce potential confusion with other entities, and better represent the city as a whole while maintaining alignment with the heart of the Big Bend Dark Sky Reserve branding initiative.
And may I just note that the exhibit accidentally did not make it in the packet, so I've included it in your black folder, just for the records.
So we've been through this numerous times. Any discussion, council?
No.
Okay, let's vote.
Aye.
Aye.
City Secretary, Council voted unanimously to approve resolution 2026-04-13. All right, moving on to action item E, Councilmember Lucas.
Approve resolution 2026-04-14, a resolution establishing policy guidelines for the operation of the Alpine's Farmers Market, providing fair and consistent market administration, supporting vendor participation, aligning market practices with applicable state laws, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, I need a motion.
A motion that we approve the resolution 2026-04-14 as presented.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All right, discussion, Councilmember Lucas.
So the purpose of this is for the purpose of this item is to consider and take formal actions on adoption of, I'm reading the wrong one. This resolution establishes a clear, fair, and consistent policy framework for the Alpine's Farmers Market to improve vendor participation, ensuring public safety and alignment with the applicable state regulations. The reason why I'm bringing this forward is my wife used to be heavily involved with the farmers market, and we go and visit it almost every weekend now. And I guess now that I've been on the council a little while, people are starting to bring concerns to me that they have with the farmers market. And so I looked into it, as I promised them I would. Compared it to a bunch of other farmers markets around the state of Texas. By no means do I put into this resolution how strict some of these other farmers markets are with permit fees and insurance and stuff. But with my research, I saw like if we had food trucks or somebody that's doing cooking, that they are required to have insurance and things like that because of the nature of products that they're selling. I thought it was for our best interest. And then to really get more of the market opportunity to weigh into how it's going to be conducted and whatnot. So that's why I put in the committee. I'll leave it to Mrs. Or Miss Gaden to pick whomever she wants to, or our city manager, however that wants to be delegated on who's going to be a part of that. I imagine the more senior individuals that are there to weigh in, so we can get some more participation, because I love what's going on there. It's a really good atmosphere, and I just want to see more participation and try and make it more of a bigger community event. It helps out a lot of these local vendors that are retired and make a little extra income, or just support their hobbies or whatever, and hopefully potentially get them into an establishment if that's what they're wanting to, and try and show them that we support what they're doing.
Okay. All right. Councilmember Portillo?
So, this is the stuff that y'all have to sign, or anybody that's gonna be a vendor there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. Yeah, I'm glad Rob kind of looked into all this because he's there all the time. I've never been, so I'm not gonna put in too much into it. So, whatever he thinks, I'm good with it.
May I note that Heather's online, ready for questions as well.
Did Heather help you put this together?
No. I guess I should have had it, but I didn't want to overstep on, I don't know how that works.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I mean, if we want to send it back to her and get her input, I'm all for it.
We have some other changes that really need to be added because the food laws actually got less strict from the state that allows other things. So we need to update those. And then it came across my desk, somebody wanting to do hemp products, which I moved up the chain to Henry, and we got feedback from the attorneys on that, on what we should allow on our city property as far as that goes. So there's some other updates that need to be added anyway. Jennifer also, I reached out to her because I had someone wanting to do puppy sales and I didn't feel real comfortable with that. She said she would like no animal sales, just the adoption agencies there with their pets that are available. So I think that we could update a lot of these things at the same time if we go back and add some of that, if you guys are open to that option.
And this resolution doesn't prevent them from doing that. It's just more of like a guideline on perhaps what we would, and then if y'all want to make any changes, by all means as well. But so they'd be able to, this is just more of a vague guideline of what maybe we want to see with the farmers market, to where when they redo their packet, they can obviously make those changes, and it's really ultimately up to them. It's just a few things that I've added in there.
So do we want to table it for Heather to come back with recommendations?
We can, it's just, this isn't telling her like that it doesn't have to be, and I understand that the state laws have changed and stuff. And so it's just stating that it would be applicable to state regulations is where our resolution would be. And so whatever those state regulations are, no matter how they change down the road, it would still fit into the resolution if it's written.
Councilmember Escobedo?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, I don't know. Okay. Like, I don't like it. I'm listening.
Okay. Gio, what is your recommendation? Should we approve the resolution and then Heather make changes? Should Would it?
I mean, it's up to you all. This one, and as far as the boards, commissions and committees, most of those are set up by ordinance. There is a provision in our code that talks about the council or like not having to really, how do I say, basically the ability to set up an ad hoc committee. So I think that we can, go that route as far as the way the resolution is written. I mean, it's really just saying, I think, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, Council Ruckus, but I think it's just saying like, we're gonna go through and city staff will look at everything, get together and establish that ad hoc committee and come up with, I guess, some more improvements, right?
Absolutely, that's it.
So I mean, either way, it's fine. You could table it, or you could pass it as written. I can send a copy to Heather and we can just work on getting everything, in alignment.
So I have a question, and this, I think, go back to the know of all knowledge.
Yes.
No.
Is it I don't know what a policy does. So is it binding, not binding? Typically, we pass resolutions and ordinances, and I just don't know what establishing a policy does. In my mind, this is a terrific set of things to go do, but do we eventually have to approve it in ordinance so it becomes binding? Because I'm a vendor. I look at this, I don't want to follow it. How do we enforce it?
We can definitely get it.
That's what I'm
So
thinking.
those are things that,
Yeah.
where I was trying to get at. because
Yeah.
It's like, was this ever brought to council before me? Did our lawyer, look over, the contract? Trying to get everything.
The contract was sent to the attorneys. So whenever the council originally said, like, go ahead, make the farmer's market happen, whenever the old one was ending, and they said, gave us the blessing to make it happen to the visitor center. They said to, establish the guidelines through the attorneys. And so these did go to the attorneys. They added some things about, they are the ones that established the page where you have to sign that the responsibility stuff, saying that the vendor is liable. They said that was sufficient. They wanted a time frame on it. That's why the paperwork has to be renewed every year. It's not just open-ended. So that was the stuff that they changed. They didn't change really any of the other portion because we went our food stuff was exactly by what the state rules were. So that's what, again, we need to go back and update because the state has changed the rules for cottage law. So it did go through the attorneys before it was ever given to vendors. And that was almost 2 years ago. We're coming up on 2 years, like in 2 weeks.
So we have a policy today?
We do. It's in the packet.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. So this is the policy that exists today?
Right, yes, sir. Yeah, I didn't do anything with the packet. I didn't want to overstep or anything.
Okay.
That's, Heather's job. She does a fantastic job at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
I love the events she puts on there. My kids love it. Literally, my eldest son is grown up at this farmer's market. It's great.
So I think what we're trying to do, and I appreciate what you're trying to do is, hey, Heather, go get it updated. Is that kind of what the thing is?
Well, this one would actually establish basically tell us to establish an ad hoc committee or a task force. That's the only difference. So
Which would give them the opportunity. So vendors that are participating an opportunity to weigh in more of what they kind of want to see, so our constituents can have a voice in how the farmers markets. Okay.
And the ordinance does say explicitly the city council may, as deemed necessary from time to time, establish temporary ad hoc committees, task forces, or other temporary special committees by resolution. So
okay,
that would be one of the benefits of proving it. And I mean, again, other than that,
we asked the vendors, the vendors that came over with us, if they wanted to have a committee, and they weren't interested. But I think that may have changed now because they have seen the value in the move. They make like 3 times what they used to because of our location and so many more people finding them. I think that we might have more interest this time, but originally they were not real interested in being on any kind of committee. That was not something that they were down for. I think that we would have to be real clear about like what we're expecting of them to do in that role. Because most of them, it's their second thing they do, or they're retired and they're not trying to have, something that commits them to a lot more time than their Saturday mornings that really acts as, a chance for them to be social and also to offer their wares to the public.
So by passing this, we would do two things. One, gives Heather the authority to go put the committee together. And she still has the authority to update this however she wants to. No, but.
The
that's-
only other thing I'm just going through right now, a liability insurance shall be required for vendors engaged in high risk operations, including on-site food preparation. Regulatory compliance, it just says that they'll comply with Texas DS, the Department of State Health Services. And then market enforcement shall follow progressive process, including notice violation, etc. That's really about it.
So it's
Two
not.
things.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So the two things, when I was looking at all these other farmers markets, I looked at a number of them. That was pretty much the baseline for all of it, when it was anybody prepping food or had any kind of like gas on our property. It's covering that. It's not gonna be for the cottage food vendor, really any of the vendors. It's more for if somebody wanted to set up and start prepping food and whatnot, as long as they're within compliance with state regulations. And then second, to caveat Heather's comment, the number of people that I spoke to shared now being a part of the committee. That's the only reason why I put it in here. I didn't think about that until they brought that up. I was like, fine, throw that in.
I'm good.
We ready to vote?
Aye. Aye.
City Secretary Council voted unanimously to approve resolution 2026-04-04 or -1. 2026-04.
Thank you.
Moving on to action item F, city manager.
Approve award of RFP 2026-02-01 for a pet cremation incinerator to U.S. Cremation Equipment LLC as the highest ranked proposer based on best value criteria, and authorize the city manager to negotiate and execute all necessary agreements.
I need a motion.
I move we approve the award of the RFP 2026-02-01 for the pet crematorium incinerator.
Yes. Okay, discussion, city manager.
So this item requests the city council approval to award RFP 2026-02-01 for a pet cremation incinerator to U.S. Cremation Equipment as the highest ranked proposer. The city issued a request for proposals to procure a pet cremation incinerator that meets the operational needs of the Animal Services Department. Proposals were evaluated by a review committee in accordance with the criteria established in the RFP as amended by addendum numbers 1 through 4, including purchase price, equipment performance and specifications, operational efficiency, delivery and implementation timeline, manufacturer support, warranty, installation compatibility, and vendor experience and references. In accordance with the RFP and associated addendum, the evaluation prioritized performance-based outcomes, specifically the ability to support multiple cremation cycles per day and maintain consistent daily operations. Based on the evaluation, U.S. Cremation Equipment LLC received the highest overall score and was determined to provide the best value to the city. While other proposers offered strong technical features, the recommended vendor provided the most competitive pricing while meeting the city's operational requirements. Reference checks confirmed the reliability, usability, and responsiveness of the manufacturer, further supporting the recommendation. Approval of this item will allow the city to proceed with the procurement and implementation of the equipment necessary to support animal services. And we have Jennifer Stewart here.
Okay.
Are any questions?
All right, so we have talked about this, gosh, probably for over a year now. Going out for the request for proposals, you got the best vendor. I don't think, is there any discussion?
I do have a question. It's 2 points. One, I'm not sorry, but our sheet talks about, it has on our budget considerations. I have no idea how much we're spending because it says expenditure required, savings application, or current budget. Those numbers are NA. They cannot be NA. What are we talking about anyways?
We did the budget amendments.
Yeah, but we have a sheet.
Yes.
And there is no supporting documentation.
Well, there is, but there's actually some
My
reasons
bad.
about why I was selective about what we're putting forward in the packet, because prior to the award, it could basically impact like the competitiveness of these people's proposals. I was trying to be very selective about the information I put in there. That, however, I definitely should have included at least like what we budgeted for.
Well, budget, yeah, that's what I was.
Which was 100,000 so far, and they came in under 100,000. It's just I had concerns about adding stuff to the
Got
package.
it. No, I'm understanding. I just trying to get this thing filled.
Money's paying half.
Yeah, we've already invoiced them.
Okay, are we good?
Uh-huh.
I'm good, thank you. That's all I had.
Let's vote.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, City Secretary, Council voted unanimously to approve the
Oh, these-
award of RFP 2026-02-01. Thank you for being here, Jennifer. Thank you, thank
Have
you.
dinner.
Okay, executive reports, 6 minutes on the clock. I won't need that long. I just want to mention that I had, a lunch with the executive director of the Sunshine House, Amy Fields, and Katie Williams, the president of the board. And they're doing a phenomenal job. They said that they have served for the first quarter and part now of the second quarter, because we're in the second quarter, 45,827 meals. That's what they have delivered. And they're on track for around 90,000 for this year. They provide 23,006 chilled weekend snack meals. They have a book club, puzzling club, garden club, dominoes. They have a library, board games, and a walking club, bingo, and quilting. And so I just kind of wanted to update you on what they've been doing. And they've seen a 35% increase in clients. And every day, their team prepares, delivers, and serves hundreds of hot, nutritious meals through their Meals on Wheels and in their senior dining center. So it's a great community service, and I just want to tell them thank you for their hard work and dedication. The much needed service is provided to our citizens. So I just wanted to update you guys on what they have been doing and what they're up to. And that's it. All right, city manager, and since the city manager has listed things that he wants to discuss on the executive report, per Texas Open Meetings Act, we are allowed to ask questions. And we're going to keep an eye on time. I may end up having to interrupt you so that we can ask
Okay.
for an extension.
Okay.
Okay, all right, go ahead, city manager.
So the last 2 weeks, I visited with Chris Ruja of the Big Bend Museum and the director. TxDOT Alpine Mobility Study Stakeholder Meeting #1 will be on 4/30/26. And RFP for road materials will be published this week. The RFP for airport fuel will be published in the next 2 weeks. See, we received 3 community service grant applications, Sunshine House, Family Crisis Center of the Big Bend, and Children's Advocacy Center for the Big Bend. Met with Colorado State University volleyball new coach regarding renting outdoor space for their volleyball clinic. Finance, HR, payroll, and grant writer attended the Tyler Technologies Encode 10 software demo. Let's see, met with Katie Vissers, HDL company, regarding economic development. We utilize them for some sales tax, I think, reporting statistics. And she was just demoing some additional features for economic statistics for the area. Very impressive. I'll have to get back with her. Met with Texas Pacifico regarding economic development opportunity. They looking at creating a switch station here. So we discussed, we're trying to coordinate one of the demoing the depot over here, but that doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the state. So Isadora got the contact person because it's over, I guess, the east side of town. Yeah, so we're kind of trying to work that out.
Okay.
Snow building.
I'm gonna stop you there for just a second. I know there's a group of individuals that want to do something with that building. They want to save it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they've got information that they think it belongs to TxDOT, but
Yeah,
it
so,
doesn't
yeah,
belong to
so
TxDOT.
it does belong to TxDOT, yeah.
Okay, so there's some stakeholders, community stakeholders
Okay.
that may be interested in having that discussion instead of just demolishing it.
Or
So
maybe
we're looking at-
maybe they want to move it somewhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that done. I've
Yes.
seen that done, and they did it over there in Dilly, the old
If they want to
depot.
turn it into something
Yeah.
museum, like a
Yeah,
railroad
yeah,
museum.
exactly. And they moved it out of the way to somewhere else, but that can be done. Okay.
Okay, so I just wanted to let you know, there's talk among the citizens about that.
Okay, and then the Texas Pacifico, they're gonna start doing some maintenance on the tracks, upgrading the tracks to be able to handle heavier loads. Let's see, Earth Day celebration on 4/20/26 was a total success. There's a dark sky celebration also had a little bit smaller attendance due to the cold weather. But nevertheless, the pool repairs started yesterday. We're 5 weeks away from pool, opening May 30th. Water Department Finance Office City Manager had a kickoff meeting regarding Texas Water Development Board, water supply and infrastructure $5 million grants for city's water. No matching requirement. Audits are a requirement to apply for this grant. So we're having bi-weekly meetings to see, who needs support, what kind of technical support, because I know on the water side, they also have a lot of reports that they have to prepare. And just like the water loss audit. Let's see, that's it.
Okay. Councilmember Lucas,
I don't have any questions on what the covered that is.
okay. Councilmember Portillo,
No, man.
Councilmember Escobedo. Councilmember Stevens. All right, let's move on to council member comments. 1 minute on the clock, City Secretary. Councilmember Stevens.
One, I think the partnership with AISD is terrific. So I thanks for leading that, Rich, and pulling that together. It's the right thing to go do. I was phenomenally pleased to hear about where we think we're in fund balance. I know we got work to do, but thanks for pulling that together. And thanks to you, Henry and Victoria, for working all that. Okay, despite my comments of the rest of times, I'm just trying to get at the numbers. So thanks very much for working. That's all I got.
Okay, Councilmember Escobedo. Councilmember Lucas. Councilmember Portillo.
I want to thank y'all for everything.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, so this brings us to item number 14, executive session pursuant to chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Do you think we can finish it in?
No, definitely not.
Okay,
No,
Do you think so?
But-
10 minutes, we could finish by 9 if we go into executive. I think you would need a motion to extend.
Do we need one?
Do we need an executive
That's the
session?
question.
How fast can you talk?
do we need an executive session?
We've covered a lot of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I need a motion and a second to get rid of the executive session.
I move we postpone item number 14 to a future meeting.
Okay, I need a second. I'll second. Discussion. Let's vote.
aye.
Aye.
City Secretary, Council voted unanimously to postpone executive session to a future time.
Thank you.
All right, and with that, we are adjourned. Wow.
There.